Welcome to the Juggernaut Bolt Action Podcast, everybody.
Episode 69! We did. Yeah! 69! This is the new edition. We're in V3 land now, boys. This is the new season of the Juggernaut Bolt Action Podcast. The first question is, where's V4? Where's V4? First question. And two, Spurlie, thank you for everyone who's watching the stream and will be watching the video on YouTube later. Thank you, Spurlie, for editing that video, cataloguing my journey with food addiction and hair loss. Yeah, that's what that video was. Yeah, I think there was something about gaming in the background and shit. I don't give a fuck about that. How are we all? How are we doing?
Yeah, great.
V3.
Yeah, I'm optimistic. V3.
V fucking free. This has been so long coming.
Yeah, I have opinions about the marketing for V3, but V3,
we have many opinions about V3.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
So
always the V3 opinions.
We don't have much. Wait, we don't have much. Shall we do an improv? You know how we nothing planned for this episode.
There's nothing planned, but
no, I'm just seeing in Discord. Alex is just sat there waiting. Shall we drag him in?
Yeah, get him in.
Do that.
Yeah.
What's he doing live?
Yeah,
he's doing something live.
He's fucking recording a podcast now. That's what he's doing.
OnlyFans. Oh, he's muted. He's muted, but he's in here. So,
how we all been, boys? Anyway, other than the games of V3, which we'll talk about, how's your month been?
Oh,
mad.
Yeah, mental. Yeah.
Are we talking just hobby or
I mean, just in life? How are we doing in general?
Mad. Life is mad.
Life is a bit mad. I just came back from Budapest. I've spent the past 2 weeks there. And I've got this week back here in the UK.
Okay.
And I'm fucking off again on Sunday.
We've dragged Alex in here, and what we've ruined is he's streaming this on Discord for people to watch.
Put him back.
We'll put you back. We'll put you back.
Put him back. Bye, Alex. Bye. There we go.
You had your chance.
Yeah.
That's it.
Where's Dan? Dan's not here. Deal with it.
Yeah. Dan's being a pleb.
No,
it's nothing more or less than that. It's not a bad thing, but it's a thing. Yeah, being a pleb.
So, because we're kind of ad-libbing quite a bit tonight, aren't we? So let's get that first question in. Why is orange jam called marmalade? Pete, go.
Orange jam is called marmalade because calling it orange jam is boring.
Yeah.
What's the difference between a jam and a conserve?
I don't know.
Why would you have raspberry jam but not raspberry conserve? Why would you pick one over the other? What's the difference? Why is one 18p in Aldi and the other one's £2.50?
I don't know.
I don't know, Dan. Can you tell us?
Yeah, come on, Dan. What's the difference between the jam and the conserve?
Talking about stuff that's cheap is Dan. Now.
I think it's the sugar content.
The sugar content. Okay. So. Is that an actual answer, or you just put that out of your ass?
I think he's right there. I
think that's right. I think I heard it somewhere. It might have been QI fact.
QI.
Obviously, I'm just going to agree with him.
How's your month been, Dan?
Shit, mate. I sprained my ankle, got appendicitis. I had to have it taken out, and I'm recovering still. But
you're appendixless.
Yeah, man.
I tell you what's not appendixless. The new rule book. Oh.
No, I tell you what, if I have to go away, it's because I'm acclimatizing fish.
Oh my god, he's still going on about this fucking fish.
Yeah, boy.
Do you paint them yourself, or do you get them commission painted for you?
Commission painted, right, okay. Obviously. Yeah.
Jesus. Has any of us had a good month?
It's been alright. It's not been awful. I had my birthday.
Had a good month.
Yeah, I had my birthday.
Yeah, Spurlie's had a good month.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one died at your work. That's a tick in the box, I guess.
Yeah, well, I don't work at the place that kills people anymore, do I? So. Yeah.
Christ.
Right, before we get anyone sacked,
this guy.
Oh yeah, you got your birthday prezi. You got your giant chaos spawn.
Yeah.
It's exciting. Still not painted though, is he?
He's paint on him.
It's literally a giant chaos spawn. It's the easiest thing to paint in the world.
Yeah, he's got paint on him. But he'll be winging his way to Toph soon to do the base.
Out of interest, that is also your first Forge World model. How was that as an experience? Yeah, it's his first Forge World model.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so proud of you, Spurlie.
What, from
I know!
Forge World?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus, how did you get some inheritance?
The birthday club pays out, mate. We up the the value, so you get about 50, 60 quid's worth each time now. Yeah.
That's alright.
Yeah. Birthday club makes bank now. Yeah.
Yeah, apparently so.
These guys pay in. I skim 10%, and it's brilliant. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, though, you've got the patience of a Saints Birdie, because you normally sort the money out every single month. But when it's my time to sort yours out, Jesus fucking Christ, can I not be asked? So I mean, I'd have to go, Sheffy, send me your money. I've already sent you my money. No, you didn't. Oh yeah, let me send my money over.
Yeah.
Every fucking time. So I'm glad you enjoyed your Prezi.
Oh yeah, it's good. It's good. And the new plug you got me. Ooh, stretches, mate. Stretches.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to go in with number 9 straight away. You're supposed to work your way up.
Look at how wide it goes.
Look on his wide.
Yeah, he's got the new Games Workshop book plug. The one he's got. It's like the one he showed the massive mega one. Yeah, man.
So it starts.
Yeah.
What we can do is we can go through the progressions really of.
Oh
yeah.
God!
So
This is brilliant podcast content, Spurlie.
Oh,
Yeah. That's a plug. Yeah.
I don't care about your audio content.
Okay.
This is all about my visual content, and then we'll work our way up. We'll work our way up to that one.
Yeah.
When we do stuff like this,
and when we get professional, and this one, look at that.
For the audio listeners, he's got a Games Workshop book plug painting handle, and he's very proud of it.
Yeah.
What we need is someone with a really smooth, silky voice to come on the pod when we do stuff like this, and just do, like the TV's got the audio description.
Oh yeah.
And the penguin is walking towards the edge of the lake.
we need to get Brad on with his smooth jazz.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He could write us another poem again, couldn't he? Like.
Oh yeah. Oh, Jonathan Forbes in the chat. It's perfect time to watch your chats, as my day has been surrounded by a bunch of low-end wankers. What makes a wanker particularly low-end? And also,
what makes us higher? What makes us higher than that?
Wankers? What's the difference?
They have fish. That's what high-end wanker is.
Yeah.
Okay, fair. We found the line.
So we've got an actual question. And that is, Darren wants Fishcam 24/7.
Hold on, let me see if I can sort that for you, mate.
Oh, fuck it out.
Oh no.
What's Dan's favourite word? Tin pot. Tin pot podcast. Just fucking about with cameras.
There you go, right there. Look. There's 3 blue. There's 3 blue commies climatised in there,
Jesus
and behind
Christ.
that, cleaner ass.
Okay. I tell you what.
Cleaner ass.
Cleaner ass.
Yeah, man.
Cleaner ass.
If we want to get actual subscribers, this is how we do it. You just put fish on
Cleaner
camera.
ass. Is that how this works?
Yeah, you Richard Gere it, shove it up there, and it gets rid of everything for you.
Right, let's finish the intro. Pete, what events have we got going on?
Events? Oh, we got.
That's all we in the intro, isn't it? It's a shitload, isn't it, to be honest?
It
is quite a lot.
To be fair, my God. How many is that in October alone? One, two.
We've got Operation Raven Rock in London on the 12th of October. We have a V3 intro tournament in Nottingham on the 13th.
And Raven's Rock has moved.
Also on the 13th.
I saw about 5 minutes ago. It's moved to the 20th. Yeah. So.
The 1 week that Toph isn't in Budapest, there's a tournament on.
Fuck you. You picked the wrong date, you bastard. I'd have totally gone.
You've got the Scottish Bolt Action guys with Where Seagulls Dare on the 20th of October. Alongside, you've got a tournament in Warminster and Milton Keynes on the 20th as well. You've then got one in Leicester on the 26th, which...
that's a Black Dragon, isn't it?
That's Black Dragon Hinckley.
I believe that's over at Black Dragon towards Hinckley. You then got another one in Norwich as well. And we then have World Open War 2 towards the end of the month, and Operation Bear in Australia. And that's the rest of October.
That's just
and
October.
That is so many.
I would suggest, if you want to go to an event, that you go and jump on our Discord and look at the events calendar. Spurlie keeps up to date. It's absolutely fucking rammed.
It's also pinned at the top of our Facebook page.
Yeah,
Post that.
but I do have to remind everyone, because the most important one is the first weekend in December, Operation Mincemeat. We are running which we are hoping will be the first proper V3 GT. Hopefully,
Yeah, Warfare's
I know,
ball, but
it depends on your definition of a GT. But as far as I'm concerned, it'll be the first proper major one.
Yeah. We're running it. We're running it only 1,000 points because we're letting everything in. And the idea, if you're wondering why only 1,000, the idea is that should limit some of the nonsense you've seen.
Yeah, some of the nonsense should be toned down.
Yeah.
But
if you can fit 1 million multi-launches in 1,000 points, then
I'm compete. So Spurlie, Dan, and Pete are TOing Mincemeat, and I'm competing in it. And I just want you guys to know firsthand that I can indeed bring some nonsense, and that 3D printer does indeed go burr. So let's see how that goes.
And if you're wondering, Toph's got home field advantage. No, because me and Spurlie are keeping it away from him, and Dan's just looking at it going, good job.
And even if they did, what you've got to remember is that Toph's a fucking idiot, right? And I can't read or listen or take any viable feedback from anyone who isn't me.
Yeah.
So, Sheffy said, how many FT17s can you get in 1K? I've already done the math. We're looking at between 15 and 20. It depends exactly how many of them you want to upgrade to potato guns. There you go. 0.
You just pin out a unit with half of them every turn.
Yeah, but you need something to do with the tanks because you other guys bringing fucking 10 Panzer ones. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a ratio of how many potato guns you need. I'm not bound to it yet.
Ramming.
Ramming. Yeah, but the ramming it's not going to go very well for the unit that can only go 6 inches. I feel the Panzer one would win the ramming war against the FT17s.
Does that mean I'm going to lose every ramming war in my life?
No, I think if anything, V3 Pete is going to make you question your position on FT17s.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
You might have to actually admit that maybe.
You know what can reliably kill an FT17 now? An anti-tank rifle.
Oh, they always could. They're probably better at it now than they ever were.
Reliably.
So, another question from Mr. Bundock. Do you think people are being too premature introducing house rules for events?
Can we?
Yes.
I vote.
Yes.
Let's go through our first, as a plan. Right, we'll come to the end of the intro. Let's go through our first games and experiences, and then talk about the WTC pack, and then we'll go back to questions like that because I reckon we might have.
Right,
we'll have some bits to bounce off. If that makes sense,
let's do that. Take some notes for us.
Yeah. Is the WTC pack out?
Yeah.
Fucking hell, Dan! If you don't know, we're all fucked, aren't we?
I don't. You know it's.
No one tells me nothing round here.
Tells me nothing. Right. End of the intro. Let's go. Also, Dan, because you was late on, you missed like the new V2 Juggernaut main intro we've set up for V3. Yeah, I know. It's all seismic. It's amazing.
That's good, mate. It's got you in it quite a lot.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
It's got lots of pictures of you, Dan.
Oh no, I might have to watch the first 5 minutes back.
Jesus Christ. So, games. So hands up. We weren't play testers. I know a lot of people thought we were play testers, and no matter how many times we're like, guys, we have no secret information. We've not played any games before you.
Yeah,
that's absolutely the case. And because we don't live in Australia or America or the US, we didn't get books early either. We had to wait for books like the rest of you.
We did get review copies that turned up.
Oh yeah,
after the game had been released.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't get them.
Yeah. So that's our line in the sand. We have got review copies, but it's so late there was no kind of advantage to it. And let's be honest, when have we ever not burnt a bridge when given the opportunity? So don't feel in any way that we're going to be like negatively biased because Osprey gave us a book, woohoo! We'll give you our facts, we'll give you our thoughts as we always do. So in terms of how much time we've actually had to play and digest and read stuff, we've been reading stuff with the internet for the past few months. How long have we had books in hand? About a week now? Maybe 2 weeks?
I've had it since last Tuesday. So what's that, 9 days?
I've still not got my book yet. It's still around Dan's house, so I need to come grab that at some point.
Yeah.
But and in terms of games,
this religiously.
Pete's already just digesting that book. I've had one whole game
Yeah.
I've had two.
Pete's had 2 games,
I've
so
had
that's
2.
where we're coming. So
0.
0. So
I was in
also,
hospital, so I've got an excuse.
so when you, yeah, it's good. I was in Budapest. It's a great excuse. So in terms of when we go, here's what our opinions are. Of course, we're very aware that they are not particularly well thought out opinions, not particularly well researched opinions, not particularly well developed opinions. Pete's an arrogant fuck, but also kind of right. But I'm just doing the groundwork because I don't want people to come in and go, you've only played 2 games. How can you know that? I'm like, I know.
Yeah, but you have played V2, and there's not a lot of changes, so it doesn't take a genius to extrapolate it, does it?
So, in which case,
just sorry, I'm just going to wind up Sheffy who's watching. Oh, is that Sheffy's book? Oh!
So, Pete, your first game was against Spurlie, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, it's great.
Go on then. Talk to me about your game, your thoughts, your feelings, comments, concerns. Go.
So, me and Spurlie rolled up a mission, thinking, yeehaw, let's go. I believe we rolled up Kill Points and Fog of War.
So what's this Fog of War that I've seen the internet exploding over?
Is what will ruin anybody that leans that leans too far, like an unbalanced list. If you
makes every unit Calcapatio.
Okay, so
Calcapatio though. It's better.
Okay, so now I'm just for the listeners who haven't read the book, or no morons like me who haven't read the book.
Would you like me to read it? Would you like me to read it?
Well, I was going to say, so you roll for mission, then you roll for deployment, and then you roll for reserve style or something, isn't it?
You roll for victory conditions, then
deployment zones, deployment type. Okay, and Fog of War is a deployment type.
Yes.
Yeah. So your deployment zones are either your 12-inch deployment strip or quarters.
Okay.
And then your deployment types are first wave on.
Roll on,
Everything deploys unless you don't want it to, or you've got Fog of War, which is you can deploy half, and then half just comes on from fucking anywhere.
And actually,
so it basically come from any board edge.
Any board edge they want.
So
it's not like
2 or 3.
No, from any reserves. So turn 2 onwards. But it's not like the V2's. I think it's Holden to Relieve or Surrounded was, where if I came on from this side, you couldn't then bring your next unit on from that side. You had to wait. No, if I come on from this side, you can come on right behind me.
Yeah.
I hope you don't mind your tanks being rear-ended then.
Oh, yes, that was what we did. That was all we did.
and again, because I guess you roll your victory condition and then you roll that, you can play any mission like that as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so already this is that's not tournament.
No,
it's not tournament friendly, is it?
No, it's battle scenario. But from a tournament kind of perspective, you can pick it up and go, well, I want to play this one, that one, and this one, and you can just say what it is. Like if you come up with your mission and go, it's a seek and destroy. We're playing Long Edges and Fog of War. People know what that is immediately.
Yeah.
Instead of having to go, how do I do this one?
Yeah. Okay, makes sense. So you rolled Fog of War for your first mission, then you was playing Kill Points.
Yeah. Very first game, Kill Points, Fog of War. Let's go.
Yeah. Germans versus Japanese. It was. Yeah. It was great fun. It
was great. So I got some key takeaways on what worked in V2 just really doesn't work anymore. Small team trying to hide himself won't happen.
Yeah, I got a key takeaway in that I need to remember that the Japanese don't care about tank charges. They just step aside, let it through.
It's always a thing. There's nothing new there.
Yeah.
That's
the thing. I've never been in a position where I could tank charge Pete before, because usually his lunge mines have blown all of my armour up before the end of turn 2. So, but it was good. It was good to run through the rules and make sure we knew what was going on.
We ran through the rules and we had a right giggle while doing it. I think me and Spurlie were giggling at every 10-20 minutes, just going, "What is going on? This is brilliant! Do it again."
This is something that I've been struggling with myself, which is the whole is it fun? Is it better than V2? Blah, 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 blah. And for now, it's for me, I can just come down to it's different because it's really hard, at least for me, to separate. Am I having fun because of the new rules that have been put in place? Or am I having fun because I'm just playing games with my friends? Do you know what I mean? Like, so when looking back and looking at how you played V3, do you look at the changes as actually that's a positive, that's improved our game experience? Or do you think you could have been fucking playing tic-tac-toe in the car park and you'd have been giggling, having fun regardless? Do you know what I mean? Well,
what do you think it is? Words, they only changed the rules that needed changing. Everything else was left alone. So surely it's an improvement.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, but they did lie. There are some bits that they've changed, and you just go, why?
So let's talk about those changes then. So the big one in the room, obviously, cover saves. How did that impact your game? What's your thoughts on it?
You know what? And this is going to sound like heresy to you, Toph. Actually makes sense with the changed to hit stuff because you can hit so much more. The only way infantry are surviving is cover saves.
But that's,
and once you're point blank, if you're not in cover to start with, you're just gonna die.
Yeah, it's so for me. The cover saves make sense with the changes that they've made at the front end. But if they hadn't have made those changes at the front end, you wouldn't have needed cover saves. So it's a change for change's sake. Because, like in our game, Toph, if we didn't have cover saves, we'd have been shooting our 7s. And so the stuff that survived because of the cover saves wouldn't have died anyway, because I probably wouldn't have hit you in the first place. So what's changed is that you got a pin and didn't die, rather than not getting a pin and surviving.
Yeah.
What did you think about the change to assault, Pete, as a Japanese player? And that must have hurt.
I don't like it. I don't like. Put it this way, right? I had an 8-man veteran squad facing up a 6-man Gebirgsjäger squad in a building. V2.
It was 5 at that point. There was only 5 of them left.
There's 5 left. V2, I'd have made that charge going the same time. V3, I'm going last. No, not touching that charge with a barge pole, so I'll just sit there and shoot. There's absolutely 0 point charging. And my general feeling on this is there's 2 things that should be charging this edition: Polish Lancers and Gurkhas. And that's it. And the only reason I say Gurkhas is because they half attack still, which is dumb.
Yeah,
I think the Gurkhas especially is one of those things where it's like, of all the things that people were actually moaning about V2 that needed changing, and they didn't do it.
Yeah.
Well, some of the things that needed changing that everyone was moaning about, Gurkhas and Lancers. What have they changed about Gurkhas and Lancers?
Nothing. They're still the best.
The Lancers have changed on the tough fighters, and actually, I think that's made them better. Lancers,
they're certainly more reliable. Yeah, the damage spike is not as high as it once was, but the reliability is a lot better because now to fight you re-rolling fails rather than just re-rolling successes, which means you're more likely to get a standard amount of kills rather than being able to go, oh look, I killed 20 people. Yeah.
Well, so if
it's not 10 guys killing 20 people if they're all tough fighters. It's 10 guys killing 10 guys.
But at least for Lancers, that now that cavalry have that -1 cover save, is massive. They die so easily.
Yeah.
So, because you're sitting there on your pony hiding behind tanks, and like some people are hitting you on like freeze and force because it's always freeze and fucking force, and then it's like, oh yeah, by the way, 4-5 up cover saves, and it's like, well, that's not going to save anyone, is it? And then when you finally get into combat, you're going at the same time, so you might kill the unit you're charging, but you're dead too. So, yeah, Lancers are still good, but then I don't think they will be what they were.
They're not. It's not the charge of the Rohirrim anymore. It's very much scalpel instead of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like
everyone else's cavalry shite though.
Say you're six Lancers charging veterans, and then you're a veteran. So you've got 12 attacks. 4 of them will hit, but then you're re-rolling 8, which I think you're going to get more than rolling 4 dice to get your hits.
Yeah.
So that's why I think in the stats kind of thing there, it works out better for you. Yeah, the back end ain't going to be great because in the combat you're going to die at the same time.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to winning that specific combat for a specific reason, I think you're just as good, if not better off.
Yeah. Anyway, stop talking about our game. I want to talk about your game.
Yeah,
Right,
well.
so what happened in mine and
thing
Pete's
is-
game is I came on the board with a tank. Pete came on with an anti-tank gun.
No.
So I came on with a tank, and then he came
Yep,
on with
and
another
I came on
anti-tank
with an
gun.
anti-tank gun.
And then there was just a chain effect across the board. I reversed one vehicle off the board in that game.
Yeah,
Or did
so
it
I
two?
had. So I found
No,
that
one
the
vehicle.
lunge
One.
mines.
Yeah.
So I found that the lunge mines weren't as good. Because you can hit them so often, they're just never going to be as
Oh
good.
yeah, because they've lost small
One
team
of them.
and down
Yeah.
on the hit, they're a lot easier to just kill that one model. If your tank's got, I was running P1s and P3s, so I was just like mowing them down. Small.
Yeah, well, the only thing that one of them did was run into his P3, not kill it,
Stunned it.
but immobilize it, put it on fire, give it some pins, and then Spurlie failed his order check and reversed off the board.
Yeah, no, you didn't immobilize it, otherwise I wouldn't have reversed off the board.
No,
So
the 1 and the 3.
So what's your thoughts of the new, reversing off the board
Love it.
thing?
Love it.
No.
It stops the
You
broadcasters.
keep doing it, so...
3 vehicles I've lost in 2 games.
yeah.
I love it because it enforces the vehicles to push to the middle of the board. Because if you're going to fail that order check and disappear, then you need to be not anywhere near that board.
It's a problem though if your tank is over 4.5 inches long, because you
No, it's
advance.
not.
I mean,
it is because
run.
you advance. Oh no, but if you're in a game and you can't run because you need your tank to do something,
But you
you're
can.
reacting. No, but if you're reacting to something, and I advance on 9 inches, do whatever I've got to do, then you put a couple of pins on me. If I'm over 4.5 inches long and then I fail my check, boom, I'm gone.
I mean, I'm also dreading bringing my French Char 2C on.
That's
Coming
when you
on.
pivot, mate.
That's
Getting
my
one
game.
Pivot,
pin,
drive on,
failing one test, and you go off the board and be like, "There's 300 points gone."
there. You've got to advance
Vom.
on, pivot.
Yeah, but now when you do your reverse, you have to pivot to get away, don't you? You can't.
Yeah, only
Yeah.
if it's
Only
in your
if there's
front
no
arc.
terrain. Only
Yeah.
if there's no terrain in between you.
Yeah.
Like if you can
Okay.
go straight back, you go straight back.
But also,
But
if,
yeah,
if you've pivoted,
the other thing about running away is something needs to be in your front. So
Yeah.
Spurlie's right. You just turn your front
you
away
pivoted-
and you don't run.
yeah, you pivoted, you just
Can I
go
just say
down.
that's an unbalanced rule, by the way, because infantry
Yeah.
don't do that. They just go down. And artillery just go down. And everything else in the game just goes down. So
But
why
I don't-
vehicles have to reverse? It's
Well,
stupid.
I've reading through the book. It does kind of make sense because when your infantry and your artillery go down, it's to represent them hitting the dirt, jumping down. If you're in a tank or a vehicle, you can't hide it in the mud, can you? So what do? You get
it's
out
what-
of dodge.
No, I know why it's there.
So
I get why it's represented that way. I just don't think it's fair that one has to flee off the board and the other one doesn't.
It's another one. It's one of those things that, like, I think it's kind of fun, but I know it's gonna create some salt at some point because it's gonna happen at the wrong time. You'll come on, you'll have one pin, and then it's a recce vehicle, so it just turns 180 and runs off. And it's just gonna be like, well, that's a fucking waste of time, isn't it? And it's one of those things where, like, the whole, we won't make changes to rules unless they really had to be made. And it's like, well, no one was complaining about how vehicles reversed, and yet you've added this extra factor of, I don't know.
Well,
don't know.
the only thing they've added is the dying when you go backwards off the board. And
Yeah.
If
What a major
they
thing to
hadn't
add.
added it, if they hadn't added it, fair enough, because it worked. Go backwards if there's somebody in front of you, but you're at the edge of the board, so just stay there, you numpty.
Yeah.
Reversing off the board is something new, and I'm just like, I don't know if I like it, but right now it's fine because it just, I'm looking at it from what I own. I own small Japanese tanks. I own big fat Shermans and things for the US and Brits. So guess what? I'm going to be running on first attempt I get to go, hi, I'm in the middle of the board.
What it
I
does
live here.
do is it does and will affect list building.
Yes.
Because you will be thinking, I'm not going to, if you take an armoured platoon, you're not going to take the 2 tanks because, as a minimum, because you think, well, if one of them's going to reverse off the board, I need, redundancy. So you're going to take 3 or 4.
I've got extra thoughts on the list building bit.
Yeah.
Let's come back to that. What did you guys think for list building, at least for your first game? Was it just a case of you just chuck everything you've got on and just see what happens?
It was a case of having to create a list out of just what I had, and I could only do that with my Germans. I've not got enough models to do it with my Soviets. I've not got enough to do it with my Brits, because what I've not got is multiples of some stuff. And
everyone will be in that boat though, won't they?
Because
Like,
that's another one of
from the US.
It's another one of the lies though from.
I got Belgians, Finns. I got like 6 or 7 armies, but all of them are 1,000 or 1250 points that I wrote for the last edition. So things like machine guns in squads are actually quite useful now, but I haven't got any. So people like me will just put shit armies out for the time being until we've bought enough models or printed enough models to make whatever the new good stuff will be.
I've got £20 that I got given for my birthday that's got Toph and Dan's name on it when I decide what I want printing.
Well, my printer's being set back up this weekend, mate, so let me know.
Can I like finish my Budapest trips, please? Get back on it.
The thing I found is I tried recreating some stuff I tried with V2. Doesn't really work. So what I created for Spurlie's game was, right, I know this, I want this to work. I wonder what a machine gun does, so we'll put one in. I wonder if mortars are still as good as they were, let's put one in. Anti-tank rifles look alright now, we'll put one of those in.
Yeah.
Oh, how effective is it going to be to spam a bunch of tanks? So I'll put a spam of tanks in. Are my Chi-Has going to be any good? Let's put some of them in. And there's a lot of learnings there, but anti-tank rifles,
I think that'll be the not meta, but the key word of this edition is spam. I think if you've got something, you need to take 3 or 4 of it to make it worthwhile.
Well, I don't think
you can't just put a flamer in a list anymore. You need to take an engineer and platoon, and you need to take 3 flamers and 2 or 3 squads of engineers, and you need to lean into that and spam it.
Well, you won't see. I'll tell you now, you will not see British armies or Japanese armies with flamethrowers until their armies of books hit, because
they're not allowed.
They've got one.
No, they are allowed. But
you can take
you've got to get a platoon commander. No, you've got to get a platoon commander. You've got to buy a squad that can't take a flamethrower and give it engineers, as per the errata. And then you've got to buy your flamethrower team. So you've got to get through all of those steps. Platoon commander, 2 squads.
Does engineer give you anything other than just the ignore defensive?
You charge buildings and it counts as open ground rather than defensive position.
Apart from that, it gives you nothing.
No, that's it.
So you actually, Pete, it's 2 engineers.
Oh, well, you have to clear minefields.
If you pay attention, Spurlie, platoon commander, engineer, flamethrower.
Sorry, I only heard you say engineer. I didn't hear you say engineer.
Yeah, but you're saying it wrong because it's platoon commander, engineer, flamethrower.
Jeep.
Yeah.
Oh God!
But you won't see it. You'll see it in the US list because they can get those squads. You might see it there. You might see it in the Soviet list. You might see it in you won't see it as often in the German list because they have to be taken veteran. But,
So Pete, you say you won your game of the pure chaos of everyone comes on from all sides.
I didn't win.
Random kill point. Did you not?
No.
Spurlie seemed to think you won.
No,
How did you draw? Did Spurlie win?
Yeah,
Spurlie won.
I smashed him. Mate.
No.
Spurlie won by 3 order dice.
Yeah.
Good job, buddy.
And that was only because the last kind of 2 I order dice I did, I killed something, and that was it.
Yeah.
If only you could do that at tournaments.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, maybe this is Spurs edition. Maybe this is it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's the grand reset, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't fucking know what I'm doing.
Reset, yeah.
So,
Cover saves.
so Spurlie is like a proper pro by the time we played just on Tuesday, and we rolled up table quarters, roll on, and demolition.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It was the worst combination.
It was
ever.
If Sam was trying to be positive and like show me like this it can be. We wrote probably the worst mission. Like case in point, demolition. Now it's the same as it used to be in that you have one objective each in their deployment zone. Except now you need to get a model, not touching it to destroy it. You need to get units within 3 inches, but then it doesn't automatically happen. You need to roll on a dice on a 4+ for it to blow up. Yeah. So if you have a unit like within 3 inches of it from turn 2, but then keep failing to roll a 4+ to the end of the game, you'll still lose.
Or draw.
Yeah. But what I do like is a dice for every unit near it.
Yeah.
So you could have one on either side of it, both rolling. So it's
that was the thing. In mine and Toph's game, I knew from turn 2. I probably should have known from turn 1, but I knew from turn 2 that I was not going to get anywhere near his objective, near his base.
Oh, no.
So from turn 2, I stopped moving forwards and just went, right, let's kill all of Toph's stuff as it comes at me.
Yeah. Draw.
Yeah, so demolition's as jank as it always was, because there was only around turn 2 or 3 I had the realization myself, because I brought my Polish lancers, that I shouldn't even bother trying to fight through you. I should have just left my lancers on outflank,
And then
come on like turn 4, 5, just bomb them onto your objective, put them within 3 inches, don't even need to kill the unit on it, and just roll a 4+ and be like, I'm done now.
Yeah.
You have to touch the base, though, don't you?
No,
Just be within 3 inches of it.
inches.
Is it within 3?
It's
Okay.
Yeah,
it's
within 3, yeah.
So Warlord's fix of demolition, official fix, was to just be, you got to be within 3.
The other thing with it is your base has
At the end of any game turn, roll a die for each of your infantry and artillery units knocked down within 3 of the enemy base. Even if there is an enemy unit of any type within 3, on a 4+, it's destroyed. But also, same as V2 and V1, it's got to be 20 inches away from the table middle line.
Yeah, we had a bit of debate what counts as the middle line when you're on a quarters.
Yep.
We worked out both lines are middle lines, so you have to be more than 20 away from
In the
both.
corner.
Less than 20 from both lines.
I was this close to making the WTC demolition fog of war. This
That would
close.
just be mental.
Just
Dan.
sheer stupidity.
What you don't want to do WTC is you don't want one bloke being absolutely battered. He's got 4 objectives, 4 units surrounding his objective, and he can't roll more than a 4+ to save his fucking life. Do you know what I mean? Like, what a way to lose the game.
Dan,
so stupid.
If you remember rightly, Dan, the first iteration of the mincemeat missions had demolition fog of war.
Yeah.
I think as a community, we're going to have to play through these and work out which ones kind of work and which ones kind of don't. Luckily, if it turns out that all the rulebook missions are shit, like they always have been for a long time, at least there's a nice big group of community missions that are still there that we can use.
You have got preset missions in here as well. Not everything is roll on.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's good. I wouldn't have really looked.
It's the old
You've got story ones as well, haven't you?
So you've got
you've
got envelopment,
You've got the story
manhunt,
ones.
point defense,
Land grab, Toph.
land grab is sectors.
Love it.
Surrounded.
I included that. Yeah.
And then if you roll a 6, you then both roll a dice, and the highest person chooses which of the 5 scenarios you play.
That's a story scenario. That story play makes sense.
Yeah. It's absolutely fine.
Again, the community will be fine with it because I've already looked at things like demolition. If the community don't like how it's working, then we can adjust ever so slightly and go, here you go. You know.
So to cut a long story short, between me and Spurlie, it was just a draw because it's demolition. Like whatever.
There is actually
that's 2 hours. I'm not getting on my life. I'm not getting back.
There's a 7.
How are your howitzers?
Shit.
Yeah.
Oh.
They got nebbled off the board, mate.
Yeah.
Already taking 15 multi-launchers.
This is the thing, right? Like
one nebble.
The minus. Ooh, I put D3 on pins on myself when I fire. Who gives a fuck? You just babysit it with your officer, who now gives an auto +2. And bear in mind, because of the platoon structure, you've got 50 million officers. And then because he's German, they're all snapping 3 times. So, like, Nebelwerfers are stronger than they've ever been. It's so easy to have a German officer with 3 Nebelwerfers for less than 200 points to just go immediately at the start of every turn, snap, fire. And, like, they've given themselves D3 pins. Who gives a shit? If one of them fails their order check, the other 2 still fire.
Yeah, well, also put it this way. If you're serious about Nebel spamming with Germans, your company commander's only 42 points, and he gives a +4.
Exactly. Yeah. So I built my Polish list because I was thinking what would I normally work in V2? How can I get it to work in V3? So I had 3 units of veteran lancers as I'd normally do. I had a unit of Inex infantry, 2 medium howitzers, 4 tankettes, and the Vickers the Vickers machine gun tank.
Yeah.
And to Dan's point about spam, it came very clear very early on that if I just literally got rid of everything out of my list except tankettes, I'd have been way better.
Yeah.
Why bother doing anything else?
For the objectives.
Who gives a shit?
You table
Didn't work for me even.
12 tankettes shooting, yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, I think the really big key with the missions, at the very least, that's changed hugely is if you table your opponent, you win.
Yeah.
Why even?
However,
if you can't
on the flip
do the
side,
objectives,
there are so many little things about that I don't think tabling is going to happen that often.
But then, like, with your 8, 10, 12, 15 tankettes, however many you can fit in, like, you bring just, enough infantry and trucks to do that late game objective grab. Hold one, contest the rest. How long? That's been a tactic as old as time, right? Like, I don't know. It's still early days.
In demolition, you need infantry and artillery to demolish. So
yeah,
I think the strongest units in the game now are going to be whatever 7+s you can spam for cheap that can shoot 2 weapons at 2 targets.
Yeah,
so you the BA-10s for the Soviets.
Yeah.
You can go LMG there, LMG
like
there.
With what's the word? With like the changes to cover and stuff, and to Pete and Spurlie's point, stuff died so easily now.
Oh, yeah.
Because you can't go down. You're always being hit on 3s, 4s, or 5s. Always.
Yeah.
Like
you hit on
you might have a -1 because you've got 15 pins. You might have a -1 because you moved. You might have a -1 because you're an X. That's it.
So
and otherwise you get your +2 for being within 3.
This is where on this thing, Toph got not salty. He was not happy with
I was like,
P3.
I was like, that's a bit bollocks.
No, but the P3 shooting the tankette at the end of the game. So the P3 had 3 pins on it.
He had 5 pins on it by the time I was done with it.
Was it 5? Well, it had a lot of pins on it. It was immobilised. It had steering damage, so it had lost a pivot.
Oh.
When you got tankette. So you when you got my tankette behind around the side, and they're just going dunk, 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 and just clipping bits off. So it's got 5 pins. It's immobilised. It can't do anything. It's fucked. And yet Spurlie just went, well, I'm going to do a fire order. Rolls his dice, passed his leadership on. Yeah, even at 5 pins because the officer was nearby, and then he just goes, well, even though I've got 5 pins, -1 to hit. Oh, but don't worry, I get +1 to hit because I'm an anti-tank gun. And then I'm still within 6 inches because I'm plinking him, and he just turns around and goes 2s.
Yeah. It's a little
fucking
bit
stupid. No, it's I might be a bit sorry. It's fucking stupid. It's just stupid. And don't tell me, oh well, it's historical because why would the crew be scared of a tankette? It's got 5 pins. It's being hammered on all sides by autocannons. The crew should not be in such a fit shape to go, don't worry there, old chap, load the crew and just go around. You see one of the tankers there? Just blow that out of the sky. There you go, sir.
I've got to say,
that's where you got it wrong. It wasn't British. It was somebody going. It was somebody going.
That was a terrible German accent, Toph.
And this, whatever. This comes back to one of my next things is that I felt pins to be fucking useless and pointless.
Yeah. The only I felt it with the 2 games I played. I felt that pins have been pointless up until the point where you need second order check. And at that point, you're going, "Where's my officer? There he is."
But there's so many. There's so many officers around that it's kind of meaningless. And again, you can bring a company commander if you're that bothered, and you'll be like, "It's fine anyway."
One rule that's gone under the radar a bit is if you are down, if you stay down at the end of the turn, you shed all your pins as well.
Yeah.
That's so big.
But then, like, being down is also not the benefit it was. If you're down in the open, you're fucked anyway. A 5+ cover save is not going to help you. So you can do that, but then you're dead. And it was so easy as well for Spurlie to be like, "There's an officer over there. 4 machine gun shots, she's dead."
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because there's no modifier for long range. There's no modifier for small team. So you sit in there, you just go 4s with your 36-inch range gun against a single man on the other side of the table, and then you just go, "Okay, well I'm in hard cover, so 4 cover save. Oh look, you failed one, she's dead."
Well, yeah, this is what makes me giggle quite a lot with what they've changed, because they realised the small team was having quite an effect, and the sniper was battering the small teams. They didn't like that, so what they've done is they made the sniper shit, and all the small teams just get killed anyway.
Yeah, and again, back to me and Dan haven't spoken about this, but I think we've come to the exact same conclusion, which is if you just spam loads of cheap 7+s, you're having a great time because their machine guns can't kill you.
Yeah.
I'm
And you
looking
can-
at my unreliable Finnish BA-10s that are like 70 points that can shoot like anti-tank guns and an LMG as well. And just thinking I need to print like 9 of them.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Do we want to jump into the WTC pack before we come back to this, or?
Well, I guess.
If we,
It's
can,
which way
I've
do
got
you
another
want to go?
We can keep doing this. I'm fine with
Yeah,
this.
keep going. Yeah, we'll come
I
back.
have
We'll come back to it.
positives about the rulebook.
Oh, yeah, I got some great positives around some rule changes that have been great. So
Yeah.
I
Go
played
positive.
the second game. I played the second game with my US, and looking at everything that went on, I went, HMGs, and put HMGs just about everywhere. I had 2 Dodges with HMGs. I had HMG on the Sherman, on a couple Shermans, HMG on a little Jeep as well, and a few HMGs will shut down regular tanks, and I love that because it means that you're looking at, why not have a Pintle-mount MMG? Or if you got 10 points spare, upgrade it to a HMG. Yeah, no problem. I don't even need to. I don't even need to be able to go through that 9+. If you're regular and I've got a penetration value, have this.
But this is. But then again, the thing is,
AT rifles are the same. Have this. Just have a pin go away. You know?
again, if you can make the pins work, because at least in me and Spurlie's game, I was putting 3 or 4 pins of his tanks. He couldn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Didn't,
Well,
it didn't do anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was playing with Rich, Suresco. Lovely guy.
Good lad.
And we generally found that you've got to hide, right? You've got to hide a bit more, and if you've got to look at plinking off that platoon commander and man, observers are great. Air observers are bloody brilliant. If people don't invest in any flak at all, they're going to get air observed to not for death, but they're going to get so many pins on them that you've got an issue. You know.
I will say, for more positiveness though, overall, I love what they've done with vehicles. I love like the machine gun reining that in a bit.
Yeah.
I like the I like the extra turns on your tracked vehicles. That's really useful, and I like the balance that they can't run up roads anymore. That's absolutely fine. We've already spoken about the reversing. I'm a bit shifty because I think it might create some salty moments, but it is also quite hilarious when a tank runs off the board. I like the extra plus to your penetration when you're within 6 inches. That's awesome. Yep. There's loads of cool little bits like that I do like with vehicles. I don't like that the Stuart is still a freaking good tank with more machine gun shots than everyone else. But
the Stuart's a great tank still. But you know what's greater?
Yeah.
You know what's greater? The P3. The P3, the early war P3,
with his 8 shots,
is better than the Stuart, because the Stuart is now an MMG, an extra one if you buy it, and a coax.
Yeah. I still think that like Tigers and your big cats are still overpriced.
Yeah, I played 2 veteran Shermans and they felt overpriced slightly, but. I mean, they died fairly quickly. Yeah. I was a little disappointed for that.
And like Alex says in the chat, another change, being able to pivot on reverse as well. They're so much more maneuverable now. Yeah. My little tankettes were going left, right, and centre. Another thing, though, that said, like, I do also like that they allow 7+s to do tank charges now. That's cool.
Love it.
But not if you're open topped. So my Ram Kangaroo, can't ram.
Yep.
But my TKS tankettes.
Yep.
Can ram.
Yes.
Can it still kangaroo though? That's the big point.
Depends on how much air pressure you put in the
carry shit, I guess. Yeah. What's the point if you can't? What's the point of having a 9+ armored transport if you can't run shit over? Do you know what I mean? Like, what's the point? Why are we here? Why are we talking? I don't understand. I don't know. Me and Spurlie had a very deep conversation. I think it all comes back to these cover saves. Hear me out. Hear me out. So we've heard since the discussions that Alessio had in other podcasts and when he was doing the Warlord Games Open Day, that the cover saves came in from Mr. Stallard and Rich Precy sitting him down and saying, "We're doing cover saves. Do it." Okay.
I think it was
Precy. It's to get the crowd in the GW games.
Exactly. Since the cover saves, then they have to change the pins to make sense so that, because obviously the pins are intrinsic to how hits work and stuff like that. Cool. Because it suddenly became so much more easy to pin. That's why they now say pins don't stack for the amount of hits, so you're not just getting fucking people over. And I think this is my biggest massive problem with it, because at least when I was talking through stuff with Spurlie, stuff died. It's just changed the entire dynamic of, how to keep units alive and how to work. And we didn't change anything if we couldn't change it. Well, if we didn't have to change it, well, that was bullshit because you did. Look at cover saves. And I can't get over how that aspect has kind of affected everything else in a way that I can't get over. And I'm not even necessarily saying it's bad. This to me, have you ever had like a favourite car that's died on you, and you've then had to go and buy a new car, but because you've had to buy one and your favourite car's just died, even if your new car's better, you're still sad about it.
There you see the.
Do you know that feeling?
No, my Panda's gone on forever. So that Panda's going to
outlive
me.
Problem. But like, I remember when my old car died, my 308. I love that car. My 308 that died, and then I brought a new car. It was 2 or 3 years newer, younger, faster, sporty, whatever. But I was sad because my old car was dead, and I love my old car. And this is where I'm feeling with V3 currently. This new system may be better, maybe perfect, maybe cover save, whatever. We'll have to give it one game. Who knows? But I miss the old system because it fucking worked.
I tell you what, Toph, I'm sure. Yeah, Kat has used this analogy about you and her ex. You know?
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, thank you. So's Gemma.
Yeah.
What about you and your ex?
Yeah, I mean, I get it, Toph. Like,
yeah,
I get it. It's just, I'm there like, give me something new. Like V2, I could sit down with an army and go, I know exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what the dice are doing. The dice are on your side, you win. You know.
And I know there's a lot of people out there who are like saying, I like cover saves, I like the interactivity, I like that I'm not just being told to remove models, I like that I get an opportunity to stop it myself, I like that I don't have to make as many I don't have to think as many modifiers, blah 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 blah. Fine. Personally, though, and it's just an opinion, so please don't come and at me in the comments. I didn't have these problems last time, therefore, I don't like the change.
Yeah. I mean,
I was fine working out maths, so yeah.
I think
I can do maths.
Given...
The big salt I've got is, you see this entire section here that says close quarters. Yeah, just bin it off. There's no need. You don't need it. It's never going to be used. Nobody's going to use it. Anybody charging is a moron.
Yeah, especially if you like if you put pins on them so they can't overwatch you, and it's like, yeah, it's -1, still doing it. You know what I mean? Like, it's so hard to charge, because if you're not on ambush, they're going to shoot you anyway. If you're not had an attack, at most you're going to have a -1. Especially if they've got SMGs, because again, you're not having the minuses for like long range and stuff like that, or any of that shit. They're just going to go in, and then they're going to hit at the same time. It is suicide.
Tell the truth though, I had a string of successful charges against Pete. Because we'd done Fog of War, I'd got 6 veteran Gerbers come on his side of the board, and basically over 3 turns I just chain charged through his small teams.
Yeah, so, my small team. You could have done that in V2.
Yeah, no, but I couldn't have come on from your side of the board. The only reason that was possible in that game was because of Fog of War. But even though we were going at the same time, I wasn't really losing anyone. But so I was winning the combats, even with Pete's Fanatic rule. So
yeah, but Fanatic has never worked for small teams ever. It worked as a rule, but never actually practically worked as something to save them.
No, but
the thing you find trouble with was when you hit a bigger squad that suddenly went, nah, we're fighting forever.
V2,
and you were just going, oh no.
So in V2 though, you've got to take the context. V2, I'd have been charging first on my own, so the small teams thing, yeah, I'd have killed a few, bang, done. But when you're fighting at the same time, you've got that chance to keep it going a little bit, because you're, you know, if I don't kill enough of you and we draw, and we go again, you start whittling that squad down. Obviously, the odds are always in my favour, but as we all know from dice dynamics, it doesn't always work.
I just think though that, like, especially because like once you start building your list specifically to do the specific things that 3-3 is good at, it's because it's so easy to just be like, oh, that small team over there, you're now dead from a single tank with a machine gun from the other side of the board. No one will ever bother trying to set up a charge, because there's no reason to, when it's so much easier just to be like, you're dead. Cool. And I don't know this is just another thing, because I know from our games we just realised everything's so killy and nothing stays alive at all. You just got to assume everything's going to dead because the moment someone looks at it, dies. But I've been speaking to Mike Smith on Discord, and he's had the completely opposite experience, saying that everything lasts forever. So I genuinely don't know what to believe anymore. Does it come down to boards? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
I'll be honest. The 2 games I've had infantry squads that could just stand and do what they want because nothing's being able to kill them quick enough. Like, oh, here's a pin. Yeah, that's cute. Next, for example, the example we gave with me and Spurlie, at least, any time you're suddenly shooting at point blank, there's no point going down. It's getting ignored. Stay on your feet.
I do hate that going down seems to be such like a trivial thing now. Because it used to be a good, think about it, or maybe yes or no, and now it's like, nah, whatever.
Yeah,
what's the point?
Well, it used to be very good, but right now I'm looking at it going, there's no point. And in the back of my mind, there's that little voice going, the people that wrote this, the people that okayed this, were people that didn't go down in certain situations or didn't see the value of it. Or didn't see the value of it in certain situations, and it was just like, if you don't see the value of it, you bin it off.
Oh, there's always value in going down. That's what I've learned.
You should always be going down on your officer.
In 36 years of my life, I've learned that there's always value in going down.
You're well up.
I mean, even in the chat, I think there's clearly people who don't have the same opinion of us, which is fine. Because even Alex is like, it's quite easy to have units at range not die. But that's, obviously your minds may vary. Me and Spurlie were clearly playing a different game. Not like a different game. We was all playing V3 bot action, but at least in our game, she was just dying left, right, and centre. Just gone.
For me, it's the
fat units didn't die. Yeah, big fat units of infantry didn't die, sure, but they're also kind of. Who gives a fuck?
You're the only person. You're the only one who's brought the big. In our game, you had the big fat unit of infantry because I had 3.
You had more veterans than I. You had loads of veterans. You had like 3 squads of Gebirgsjäger.
No, but only 6 man. I didn't have a fat squad.
Yeah, I guess I suppose.
You had a full Inex squad that bounced across the board.
Well, to be fair, you didn't even aim it. You ignored it. Yeah.
I looked at what was happening and I went, I know what Toph's doing here.
But it's the thing. If you say, if you bring a 10-man regular squad, keep them alive is easy, fine. That's 100 points. I could just bring another tank.
Yeah.
And there's lots of guys pointing out in the chat, like James Shipman pointed out that the Italians have access to a 26-point inexperienced armor 8 plus command tank. 26 points. Just bring that. We worked out as well. The priest kangaroo is 56 points. Like,
yeah.
I think it's going to take time for the community to work its way through these kind of things, test stuff out, print to go, blah 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 blah. But I don't know. It's all different.
I've already worked out.
It's all messed up. Yeah.
I've already worked out. The Germans have a cheap command vehicle that can get there. The British have a Jeep that you can turn into a non-transport option, so it goes into the armoured car as per the V3 rulebook, and then you go plus 10 points, it's a command vehicle. The US have the same with the Jeep, the Japanese have the Kodagani doing the same thing. Guess what? The Soviets have the similar thing. That's what your command vehicles are going to be, because nobody cares about command vehicle. You want to get it out there. I think the only, those lists that you see before where it's like, I have this one big, one tank supported by infantry is going to be the Jeep's the command vehicle because I had to take something.
Yeah. And that's going to chat. Alex in the chat says cheap Inex units at range that go down an objective for cheap cost are more survivable than a veteran unit up close up. And I absolutely do agree with that statement. Yep. But there's 2 modes. There's within 6 inches, and then everything else.
Yep.
Because there's no negative for range anymore. So.
Everybody's got it all the time.
Exactly. So if you're in an Inex unit at 8 inches away, you're the same level of survivable as a unit 24 inches away. Obviously, after the move, because people move into range, blah 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 blah. But like these stats for me, for me previously in previous editions, there was an inherent like extra protection from just that range that isn't there anymore. Because you'd just be like, well, you're a long way away, which is gonna affect this, affect that, blah 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 blah. Who knows? Anyway. I know Dan's fucked off, he's busy shacking a fish. What's your force? He's still...
Are you ready for my
Go on, give us some. You're too quiet, Dan. Give us some hot takes from a man who's never played a game of V3 yet.
My actual positivity is there are a lot of rules that they have actually added qualifiers for. So things like Recce has actually got you can do this or this or this, and in layman's terms, as long as you've done something to make the shot harder or miss or anything like that, it's in there now. And there are a few rules like that where in previous edition, in the last edition, there was a few rules that were a bit open-ended or ambiguous, and they've been cleared up now, so I like that. And the second bit of positivity is I really like the paper it's printed on, because it feels like an old-timey document. It feels like it's something that you. Is it
like when you're at school and you're making those old pirate maps and you get the paper and you dip it in your tea? Yeah.
It feels like it's got that really softy kind of old timey feel to it. It's really
the cool. A5 is exactly the same as the old A5 book. Probably because you can't print on that soft paper.
Yeah.
Now, I have got the Northern Hemisphere version, because when I open it up, everything is the right way around. Yeah. I've not got one of the Australian versions that were.
There was a batch where the front looks exactly the same, but the second you open it up, it's upside down.
I want one of them.
I've also got the batch that's missing pages 213 to 222.
Yeah, like the 10 in the middle is falling out.
Yeah,
it's missing the back half of the German army list and most of the front half of the US army list. It's mad.
Yeah.
I saw someone on Facebook today put, "Thanks for Warlords sorting me out a new rulebook because of this issue," and the rulebook he got has got the same issue.
Yeah,
they didn't even bother to check it to make sure the pages are there.
No, because if they'd have checked it, they'd have had to have taken the shrink wrap off it, and if they took the shrink wrap off it, it's not a brand new book. So it's second hand.
Yeah, but you would say, look, we opened it to double check it's got the pages there, and I'd go, fine, whatever, mate. Who cares?
But honestly, someone's gone through that for what I've just said and said, "Oh, we can't do that."
Yeah.
So I want Dan. You've been very coy. Tell me your thoughts on V3. Talk to me.
Talk dirty to me, Dan.
Yeah,
no, yeah.
Your time to shine.
I'm very pessimistic about the edition. I don't think it's going to be as broken as V2 was, and there were army lists at the end where it was completely shit. I think V3 is going to be worse, and I think everyone is going to very quickly catch on to the 7+ meta of just taking 2 officers and 4 in X platoons and spamming the shit out of 7+ tanks that can put as many shots out as possible, and it's going to get very boring very, very quickly, unfortunately. And I don't see a way that you can counteract it efficiently.
Can't you just cancel? Couldn't you cancel out numbers of certain platoons and stuff like that?
As TOs, you can limit platoons, and I mean, one of the ones we're going to be keeping an eye on events and lists that have won events over the next few months as part of the WTC watch, because if there's anything out there that is stupidly egregious, we need to stop it happening at WTC. Because no one wants to travel thousands of miles to just get your face kicked in by a list that you don't want to play because it's horrible.
I think the 20 FT17 list is definitely one of them, isn't it? It's such an obvious thing to do where you go, right, FT17, 30 points, that means 160 points, I can have a platoon of 5 of them, wicked. Let's just do the maths. Do you know what I mean? And I think especially these days with how prevalent 3D printers are, it's never been easier to turn up at your table with your 20 FT17s.
No.
Like, no one wants to play that game. Nobody.
No. So we're going to keep an eye, because one of the things that we discussed previously between the lot of us is we could limit, like, you can only have a certain number of platoons, so you could only have 3 tank platoons in your team. Now, whether you put all 3 of them in one of them or split them out to make everyone's a balanced list, that's up to you guys. Or you could only have a maximum of 1 platoon per player of non-rifle platoons, but you can have as many rifle platoons as you want. So you can have like 6 rifle platoons and then a tank platoon, an artillery platoon, a heavy weapon support. That would have been fine as well, but we've left it completely unchecked at the minute. But it is a living document and the scene is only just started, so watch this space. It may change if it has to. If it doesn't have to, and all kinds of lists are winning all kinds of events, then we'll leave it as is, because everyone likes the rock, paper, scissors. But until then, we don't know.
Yeah, so mincemeat.
It's just too many unknowns, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, the game is what, 2 weeks old?
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, that was one of the questions, wasn't it, right from the start, that we're not answered yet, about what's your opinions on people
House rules
producing house rules already for, an edition that's, 2 weeks old. Personally, I'm with Dan. It is far too early, because this is all just thoughts and feelings. Yeah. It's not possible to have any more than thoughts and feelings, because unless you've been playtesting it for 6 months, you've just not played enough games.
Exactly.
And whilst
I can already see those in V2 with limited order dice. They're already thinking, "Oh God, how can we limit the order dice?" It's like, hold on a minute, you might want to take this up with order dice, because things might die a lot quicker. They might get pinned out quicker. Because my general overall feel at the moment is you got the V1 pinning situation. Pins are everywhere, and you got some elements of V2 in there.
I can see some of those capped events on order dice. I can see games ending early because people are getting tabled.
I think we saw one the other day, wasn't it? It was a 12 order dice maximum.
Yeah.
And it was like a 12.50 as well, and it was just like, what's the point of that, mate?
Yeah.
Literally, what's the point?
And even if, say, the 20 FT17 list becomes a thing, like, people will evolve, people will expect it, and then when the 12 light AT gun list becomes a thing, guess what? No one will take the 20 FT17 list, because the 12 AT gun list will tear it to bits, and that's how
you're
things
ready for the rock,
right?
paper, scissors.
Yeah.
You get the AV7 list, the light AT gun list, and the MRL list. That's your rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah. And then you get the king list that's got 5 7+ers, 5 light AT guns, 5 multi-lodges, and then just kicks the ass out of everybody. Pass. Yeah, pass. It's just too early to tell. And that's why it's also right. I'm withholding my official approval stamp of, do I think this is a good edition or not yet? It's just too early. It's just too early.
It's far too early. But my first feel, and we were talking amongst ourselves, but my first feel is points limit is going to limit a lot of the BS. And that's why, as I said earlier, we kept mincemeat down at 1,000, because we're going to have to see what happens.
Yeah, I think everyone.
What can you fit in 1,000?
Yeah.
And if you can fit a lot of BS in 1,000, we can work with that. Work at that kind of area, and then, all right, we'll let's push it up, because 1,000 was okay. But what can you do in that extra that you can't do here?
The way I look at it at the minute, at 12.50, you can bring all your toys. You can get everything in, and then you just end up with cookie cutter lists, because everybody knows all the toys you can bring. It's all too similar. Whereas at the 1,000 points, it gives you that, it forces people down the rock, paper, scissors route, because you can't take everything. I can
see the logic of why Warlord play tested at 12.50 and why they decided 12.50 will be their new normal. One, because it sells more toys, of course, but also from just a playing at club kind of mentality. You want to bring all your toys, you want to bring your tank, you want to be able to bring your guns, you want to bring some infantry, you just want to put stuff on the table without too much fuss and roll some dice. Fine. But at a tournament level, when you're given that much, when you're given a pie of that size, it's so easy to redirect the pie into bringing 20 Nebelwerfers. Do you know what I mean? And like, I think tournaments that are jumping headfirst into 12.50 might suffer more from that kind of thing than the 1,000 pointers.
They're the ones with all the house rules in. 12.50.
Yeah, I'm worried that a lot of the play testing would have been done by historically minded players, and people like John Stallard and Alessio and the guys over in America that play tested it, and they would have gone, well, let's take a nice balanced list, and every game would have been 12.50 with a little bit of everything, and they haven't given it to people like us that would look at it and instantly go, while I can take 20 FTC.
From what I heard, they have given it to players like us, obviously not us specifically, but players like us, who've then said, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't let people do that. And Warner's just gone, okay.
Yes,
thank you.
They did.
Thank you. And then not doing anything with that feedback, which is even worse, to be honest.
Sometimes, though, the problem, from what I've seen, is when someone's tried the spam list, they've not played the game all the way. So there was one of the American players who'd done an MRL list, and after 2 turns, they gave up. It's like, well, yeah, but you still need to play the game through, because is it good at the start? And then if you're against somebody who can get across the board, late game, does it just melt? Which, in my opinion, it would do. But, don't give up after 2 turns and just go, it's shit. You're there to play test the game, play the game.
Yeah. That's the thing with playtesting. When it starts feeling bad, you're playtesting. You have to play through the feel bad to get the whole feel bad, and then go, how do I fix the feel bad? Instead of going, I feel bad, bin it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and ultimately, that's also why, coming back to around that mincemeat, why we're being quite open with packs and stuff. Mincemeat, WTC, and stuff, is because you need to see it to experience it before you know what you're fixing. You can't fix a problem that you don't know what it is. And whilst we can all say, oh, I think X is going to be a problem, I think Y is going to be a problem, collectively we've all played a couple of games each, maybe 10 if you're proper, mega have been smashing it out for the past 2 weeks. There's just not been enough time for a meta to develop. So for people asking us for a new Jugger format straight away, fuck off, mate. There ain't no time for that. No, that's not even next year's problem. That's probably the year after next year's problem. Do you know what
I think if you're desperate for a new Jugger format, I might give you a mission pack, but it won't be anything special.
Well, the thing is you can play V3 with the existing Jugger pack.
Yeah.
You can still use
same missions.
Same missions. You can build your platoons in the same way. Like, it's all there. Just go and play with that. You might even find you have a fun game with that. Wicked. Go do it. Yeah.
Do what you want. I'd be dead. Yeah,
we are not your dad, and that was my saying.
Yeah, I know.
Right,
I still want to deal with it. But yeah, so one thing I was actually glad of, despite multiple people asking multiple times over multiple days, I'm very glad all of the minor nations got their PDFs.
It didn't.
But you can play with all of your toys.
Yeah. To be fair to China players, though, I'm really not trying to be racist when I say you can just count as Japan. It's true. I'm sorry, it's true. You just
said it.
It's not right, but it's okay. You can count as Japan.
I may know somebody that has something in the works.
We all know someone who's got something in the works. Yeah.
No, you know him too.
I probably do.
And Spurlie knows him.
Yeah.
Dan knows him.
But until he works for Warlord and it's released officially.
It's not official.
Yeah. If you were going down the route of using non-official stuff, Russell's already got his Chinese list.
Oh, wow.
So,
yeah.
There you go.
That's always a great sell of a new edition when one of your playtesters goes, I'm going to run a tournament, except we're going to change all the fucking rules.
Yeah.
Whatever. No,
I think the most some of the more some of the saltier things that get a little annoying is I play Japan. I like playing Japan. It's always been a fun little faction. When do I get my army of book? 2026.
Another pet peeve is like, and forgive us if we're in any way guilty of this. Is like people who go, here's how my exact V2 army worked. This exact same V2 army doesn't work the exact same way in V3, and now I'm sad. Yeah, you got to
kind of the point.
Change it.
Kind of the point of the new game is that it doesn't.
Yeah, that's like me coming out being like, man, my lancers are fucking useless. It's like, yeah, they deserve to be nerfed a bit. We had that discussion. Yeah. Get over it. That's why we need to just spam the TKSs now. It's the new meta. Bring 12 of the fuckers.
The only reason we didn't see more Lancers is because people didn't want to paint all the horses.
Everyone did. Everyone built. The problem is 90% of all Lancer armies are actually broken, and I don't mean that by dirty. I mean literally the models are snapped in half, and they're all in people's garages. Like, And that's why you never see them play. If Lancers came in like big, solid metal cubes that couldn't break, everyone would have them. They'd be everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, questions. Go on, Spade, have you been taking notes for us?
Yeah, so the first one, do you think people are being too premature introducing house rules for events? Our answer was
This one.
yes. Then
Yes.
Darren, he said, do you think 1,000 points is going to be the norm, or will people start upping it to 1250 as per the book?
I think people will play 1250, and then people may work out, actually, that's a bit much and work backwards.
Yeah.
I'm
They'll
quite...
play 1250 because Warlords mentioned 1250 is what they play tested, and then
it's-
they'll work backwards and go,
it's
you
like-
have too many toys, you have too many toys.
You take the kid out to the park, you see the ice cream shop, and you go, what size ice cream do you want? And they want the double, triple, mega ice cream with all the bollocks on it, 15 flakes, do you know what I mean? And then they go, and then they drop it, and then they cry. Like, that's where the kid is right now. We've sit there, there's massive ice cream, it's wobbling like that, and it's about to fall off, and then we'll be like, and then you go, do you want a proper ice cream now? And then you get a little tiny cone, just a little one like that. That's what we need. Just a little tiny cone. Yeah. I think.
I still think
too much.
I still think the towards the end of V2, the Recon Rumble stuff that was started being thrown around. I still think that's plausible with V3.
Oh, gotcha.
Because we don't want you to bring anything that's not like a soft skin. Well, all right, you can't have things that aren't soft skins. And hang on, we're Recon Rumble. We don't want to. Maybe your tournament doesn't want to bring any armor. Oh, well, you can't take the armor platoon. It's become a lot easier to go. No, you're not having that.
Yeah. So, new answer for a new question from Chris related to that. So, speaking of tanks, how many is too many? And I think you take the maximum that you can possibly fit, just leaving enough points to make sure you can cap objectives at the end of the game. Done. Done.
No, I think there is. I think you're getting each other's way in your own tank's way.
Depends if they're Panzerwerfers or not.
Oh. Having seen a Panzerwerfer ago, it's like, cool, next.
There's just certain units. Do you know, like the Italians? Is it, Dan will correct me? Is it the CV-35 or something?
CV-33.
The little 60-pointer with the 2 machine guns on it. Stuff like that. It's just like bringing 10 of them's well easy, and they'll fit anywhere. They're so easy to just fit in places and hide and drive around.
Even if you just bring 5 as like a machine gun base, because again, machine guns are a lot better now. But they're still not armor 7.
Yeah. So if they're 60 points each, 5 of them, 300 points? That's like the same price as like as a single Tiger, which is why Tigers are still overpriced. Because why bring a Tiger when I can bring 5 tankettes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, this is where my brain's originally going anyway. I don't think you can take enough tanks, to be honest. Because even if someone brings 80 E-guns, you go, well, here's my machine gun. I hit you on 4s. Cool. You've got your 5 up cover save because you started in a bush. Wicked. You're dead. Meh. Next question. From Mr. Matthew Sheffield. Who's Sheffy? Is he that child toucher? Is he the pedo?
He was the one with all the flakes in the intro video.
That's it. Is he in the intro video?
Yeah, he's in
actually
the intro
there?
video.
Is he?
Yeah,
there's a picture of Sheffy in there?
yeah, he's.
We need to take him off. We'll get put on the list.
It's all right. It's all right.
Okay. Anyway, Sheffy put, here's an actual question. From initial impressions, is it better to take a minimalist approach to list building, take a cheap infantry platoon, fill the rest of the toys, or is it worth starting on the assumption that the mandatory infantry platoon is worth investing in?
I think that's still out there to be decided.
Still to be decided?
Yeah.
I don't know. In every list that I make, I start by putting stuff in,
Yeah.
and inevitably end up cutting stuff to make room for more stuff.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like, I could add an extra 2 squads to the infantry platoon, or I could have an artillery platoon and take an extra couple of, like, AT guns. Woo! Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But I think there's not enough games been played. Whilst that is
No.
technically good on paper, it could end up on the table.
I just don't... I can't see a world where, like, you know, taking 3 8-man veteran squads is a good choice.
I can see a world, like, because obviously I'm looking from a two or three different army perspectives. But right now, the Japanese getting free fanatic, those 8-man veteran or even larger blobby inexperienced squads that just go whatever and move on with their lives are probably going to be really useful.
Yeah.
Because here's my blob.
Yeah.
There's still quite a lot.
Well, I
still think the rifle platoon will be useful. Like spamming rifle platoons isn't the end of the world. I'm looking at a US list that is tankless because Rangers, right? Bazooka teams. I've got things in there now that can just go. Don't need a tank. Have this.
I like the idea of bringing the 20-man Polish veteran squad.
Do it.
Just see what happens. Just run.
Can they still go up to 20?
They can go up to 20, yeah. Or you just sit there and sit them all in the hard cover, and you just go 20 shots.
Yeah. So a lot of it for me comes down to what's it being used for. Because if you're just using them to sit and shoot with, 15 inexperienced boys will do.
Yeah. Has anyone used any machine gun teams yet?
Yeah.
Pete did.
Like
Thoughts?
It's 6 shots.
Okay.
Because just here's a pin, get bent. I'm looking at them. You know how you got snipers in V2 and you kill officers and small teams.
Yeah.
That's what machine guns do now. They just swap roles.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I can see that. That makes sense. Especially the German ones with their 7 shots. That's quite insane.
And the only role the sniper's got is I need to kill your leader / NCO just to get you down on morale and so these pins actually do something.
Alex Bundock says, do you think artillery AT guns are back?
Yeah.
No?
I got shot at by Spurleys. Ouch.
I think the versatile ones will be wicked, like your 25-pounders.
Yeah, this
they were already good, but I think they'll be even better when they can either they can sit there with their +1 and be like pow, freeze from the other side of the battlefield, and then still be able to bring HE. I think your super heavies and your heavies are still going to be shit, but I think spamming light AT guns is going to be a viable answer to some of the lists other people are planning to build.
Yeah,
if that makes sense, because it's they're what, like 50 points each for a light AT gun, depending where you get them from.
Yeah,
I just don't think they'll ever be able to stand up to, like, if you need lots of anti-tank guns, that list is going to run over you anyway because you brought anti-tank guns.
Where else are you going to get your AT from, though? Because Panzerfaust are double the price now. Flamethrowers are hard to get hold of. So either you bring in your own tank spam list, or you bring in some form of AT gun. Maybe it'll be autocannons instead.
Yeah, autocannons.
No, I actually think the light AT guns with gun shields will be the one, because you can sit in the open and still get your cover save for having a gun shield.
Because I reckon Panzerfaust are a dead weight now. 15 points is too expensive.
Yeah, for the points you'd spend on Panzerfaust, I would be spending them on Panzerschrecks.
Yeah.
And
Panzerschrecks are so expensive, so they're like 90 points each, aren't they?
They're not cheap.
Yeah, but
they are not.
Yeah, cheap. But you know how we use flamethrowers in V2 with the Jeep and Get Out?
Yeah, sure, okay.
Do that with Panzerschrecks, bazookas, Piats, and suddenly you got this huge threat range to a vehicle that tells it to clear off.
Instead of buying Panzerfaust, you buy anti-tank grenades. Because you're going to be immune to tank shocking because you just move out the way.
Oh, Japanese.
Yeah.
And then you just charge them because if everyone's spamming AV7, it doesn't take a lot of hits to get them. No. And then you can actually penetrate them with anti-tank grenades.
No.
So if you think a 6-7 man squad is going to be less than a Panzerfaust with full tank grenades.
I do think soft skins are going to be squishy as fuck, though. I think
they're pointless now.
I can't see a world where Jeeps are spammable because they die so easy.
Look at Jeep. Oh, it's gone.
Yeah.
Having used 3 myself and been shot at by quite a few rifles, Panzer 3s and things, didn't see much difference in survivability.
But that's because not very good.
Because V2. No, because V2 you get that 6 through, you then roll on that chart and you'd be screwed for a turn anyway because you've got to fix yourself. Sure, you might disappear V3, but you've got that lovely cover save that goes, yeah, no, I'm good. And just getting that cover anywhere, at least on the board I was playing Rich on, was a lot. Hey, look, there it is. Oh, there it is. Oh, there it is. It was much quicker. On the board what me and Spurlie were playing on, we decided, well, what does cover do? I just basically had next to nothing of it. And, oh boy, that hurt.
Yeah. We had a mix, but it was spread. So...
Yeah. Like, if we set up boards as we did for V2, there'll be enough cover on there to keep your soft skins alive.
Yeah.
But then it all comes down to how you're setting your game up. If you're rolling on the table, and you know, all it takes is fog of war, and then nothing counts.
Mm. So, another question from Alex: are some of the changes that we see and didn't think needed changing a byproduct of changing other things?
Yes,
absolutely. I think straight away. I think the change to pins are because of the change to cover, but that just makes me think of the changes to cover. Makes me hate them even more. If that makes sense. Like maybe the increase to make tank guns better is because maybe they're expecting people to bring more tanks. Maybe. Just still too soon, isn't it? Also, we can't trust any answer Warlord gives us because they're full of shit. Just being honest, you know what I mean? Oh, we made this change because we thought about that. No, you didn't. You just want to sell a gun.
I just think they for some of them at least, I think they've just gone, yeah, that'll do as a rule change.
I don't think it's that bad. I think the issue is the playtesting wasn't done with a whole game. It was done with, let's spend an hour on how this interacts and then leave it there, instead of playing the game through and going, what, that was too good, why? Let's play the rest of the game through and see why.
I think it was just an eye-opener for me when me and Spurlie went to the open day and got our demo, and they got the rules wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, not even little changes. They got measuring ranges wrong.
Okay.
And gave me and Spurlie this whole spiel about how it's only the two closest models that count for ranges. And it's all completely made up. Because I was like, oh my god, this is a massive change. How's no one talking about it? No one's talking about it because it's not a real change, but they were demoing it. And then, so when, you know, these same people, and obviously I'm sure if you got one of the games designers and they said we did the X for Y, sure, great. But anyone who's not a direct games designer, someone in marketing or something giving you a spiel, you might as well listen to me. I don't fucking know anything. Do you know what I mean? So we'll never really know what happened or what the real motivations was.
I think the key, one of the keys to me is when me and Spurlie were playing, Spurlie was like, yeah, this is we're doing far better than the one for the open day. And it's like, oh, okay. Yeah. But I put that down to the marketing department not being good enough at marketing. And that's my main kind of disappointment with this whole thing. You've got this huge launch which for their game. They put I know why they put cover saves, or it was asked for. They put it in because they want to grab more of the 40k, it's Sigma and GW crowd that expect saves. You can say anything about them, they expect saves. So they want to grab more of that crowd because they're all there and it's becoming mainstream, so they want to kind of siphon off the little bits, which is fine, but come on now, the marketing's got to be right for it.
So many people, though, once you're in 40k and Sigma, the Games Workshop thing, you sit in that lane. And the only time you leave that lane is when you want something different. So if you come out and make another, you know, a World War II version of 40k.
40k at home.
Yeah. Why am I going to go over there to play basically almost the same game again?
I see it. The way I see it is that they've basically deep-throated a big bunch of member bearers from 3rd edition. 40k.
Yeah.
Well, you can see that from the army books.
Exactly. Do you remember cover saves? Do you remember? That's literally it. I wish I'd actually thought of that in advance. I'd have put it on the soundboard because it's just
members.
That's another thing that's another thing I really appreciate from this edition as well, is the way they've laid out the army books, or the armies of so far, where they've got things like mortar, and it says weapon, light mortar, 20 points, whatever. It says to upgrade to a medium, it's plus this. To upgrade to a heavy, it's plus that. Rather than having 3 different unit entries.
Dan, you ready for this? Already confusion, because in the rifle platoon you can take a light mortar, and people are going, well, I can upgrade my light mortar to a heavy.
Yes.
Yeah, you see, it does work, but at the same time it doesn't work, because like in the US bit, it's got the automatic cannons, and you can take 1 heavy automatic cannon on a rotating platform. Now, I'm not that clued up on all the different types of guns to go, I need to buy this model. So I did like it when it used to tell me that it was an M1 37mm, but it doesn't anymore. And the only reason I know that is because the only reason I know that is because somebody else has had to tell me it.
Yeah. I do like the app though. Other good stuff. The app's good. I've spent my £2.
Yeah.
The only thing I don't like is you can't copy and paste units and platoons.
Yeah, you can't.
There's no copy button. What I want to do is I want to put one FT17 in and press the copy button 4 times. Then I want to go on the FT17 platoon button and press that button 4 times, because otherwise I have to just add FT17, add FT17, add FT17. It's just my carpal tunnel, man. I can't cope with it. Can't
if you want to spam FT17s, carpal tunnel is your price.
No, I just go on Excel and I do it that way instead.
Toph, send it in, because I sent in saying
send it.
Yeah, because I want to be able to copy and paste my list so that I can paste it into WhatsApp, because sending PDFs and then people trying to read them on phones, it's a pain in the ass. Whereas when I can just go export to text, copy, paste, done. So I've sent that into the app, guys and girl, and in under an hour I've got an email back saying, yep, we'll add it to the list. And they're going, we're working on this and this. So at some point, hopefully we'll get to it. If you've got any other ideas, let us know. And I think the people doing the app development.
I mean, because the app is actual like coder developers that understand what users want.
Yeah, the people that are doing this app development now are so responsive. It's really good to see. Obviously, the proof is in the pudding, because it's easy to go yep. But then if you don't do anything, then it's a load of shit.
I am being told in the chat that apparently you can already duplicate platoons. So someone just needs to show me, because I'm an idiot.
Next one going, just to keep us running, is from Alex again. He loves it. Reversing off the board defeats the point of spending the points on the now ever so slightly cheaper big tanks with long range guns, because you still have to drive big gun forward and hit them with your sword, aka 40k guard tanks.
Yeah. Or also, if you sit there on the back, board edge with your +1 to hit, taking advantage of the long range, you're just going to fail an auto check and run off the board with your 400 point tank.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
It does make officers better with accompanying them behind a tank, because the turn they do fail because the officer's there, they do have to pivot and go round, so it's a slightly longer journey. So you get our turns reprieve.
Yeah,
you've got to do what I was doing in V2, which is your officer lives behind the tank.
Yeah.
One thing I'm not thankful for from this edition is Warlord. Please hire proofreaders and people that read the rules and try and make them make sense, because there are so many rules in there where it could just be the rule is do this and add 1. Instead, they have a whole fucking paragraph about it and make it as complicated as they possibly can, where it just needs to be simple. Like, GW used to do this. They used to do really stupid, complicated rules. And then about 2 editions ago, they changed to just going, here's a bit of blurb about the rule, and then bullet points. You go, you do this, you do that, and that is the rule. And that's what Warlord need now. They need to simplify some of the text in their wording.
Yeah, but Dan, you're missing the point. It's all about the member bearers.
I know.
In the 80s and the 90s, someone would give you a history on the Battle of Agincourt and how it's a great thing, and then after 400 words be like, that's why this unit gets +1 to their save. And you go, oh, forget it, brilliant, that's why. Like, just deep throat those member bearers, and it'll all make sense.
Yeah. Then also, they just need to double check their pictures are actually what's under them, the descriptions of what's under the picture. Because I am going to take a Pack 42 and play it as a Stug.
Oh, for fuck's sake! That joke's so overdone already.
You can't stop me. I'm going to put it on a track. Put it on one of those old-timey trains that do this to move, with the up and down handles.
There was the sentence that you pointed out as well, Dan, where they'd got 1 as a number and then like 3 written out as a word. It was just like
it's when you're doing damage against buildings. If you roll 10, 11 or 12, it comes down. but it's written 10 TEN, and then the 11 and 12 is the numbers 11 and 12. And I know that there's some grammatical thing where between 1 and 9 you write the word because it's small and then you can do the numbers, but it's 10, 11, 12. It's just 3 numbers. Just make it the same board.
I very much enjoyed those hours on WhatsApp when you'd first got the book, Dan.
And it was so annoying.
It's just you sending screenshots going. I was entertained for a good hour.
And I saw that they stopped the officer's snap bubble thing, that you can't chain officers into officers to make them.
I know. Well. It's a good job too, because it would have been very easy. Yeah.
Our game would have been so different.
Do all of my dice, you're going.
Yeah. 4 high-ranking officers. And
I mean, that's the thing. That thing that happened in me and Spurlie's game, because he was a German player and he had about 3 or 4 officers. It was he had like the first 12 dice out because he just went 1. Oh yeah, and everything goes, and 1, and everything goes, and 1, and everything goes. I'm just sitting there, just like, Yeah. Another question from Alan Tibbetts. How about 4 times 7-man scout squads deploying to cover every inch of quarters map DZE to prevent first wave reserves from entering the board? For God's sake, it still to this day doesn't say in the board in the rule book that you can't cover off an entire board to stop someone coming from reserve. And it probably we've had this argument enough times now that they probably should have put that in.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't the old FAQ though, wasn't it? So it is stupid that they haven't done it.
So his specifically his quarters thing. It stops first waves. It won't stop reserves in that deployment because they can come on from just about anywhere along your entire edge, I believe.
No, this is the debate. This is the current debate on what actually is a DZE. What is a deployment zone edge?
So your reserves are outflanking.
Yeah, your DZE is anything covered by the coloured bit on the map. So, for instance, if you're playing table edges, you have your 48 inches of your table plus the 12 on the side. That is your DZE. And if you're playing quarters, you've got 36 that way and 24 that way. So you could come on 24 there and run basically off the board edge if that's what if you're playing double envelopment on that mission type.
Well, no, because when you leave the board now, you leave via your enemy's DZE. So
you'd have to go 36, wouldn't you, from that?
I guess more than ever, we need to come back to, when we're having these rules debates and the whole rules intended versus rules as written things come up, and the whole rules as what should they be, what shouldn't they be, blah, blah. And my always philosophy is what I recommend is work out specifically what the rules do say, whether you like it or not. And then once you've established what they actually say, then decide, do we actually want to play it that way?
Well, that's the thing.
Because to me, the whole DZE edge thing is really, really clear. But there's a lot of people who don't like it because they think it's not intentional. Well, that's absolutely fine. Don't play it for your own games, but then don't try and say that that's not what it says when that's exactly what it says, if that makes sense.
There's nowhere in the rulebook where it's actually explicitly defined what your DZE is.
That is.
Well, there's a picture with a big red and blue bit. So
no, because it doesn't say, though. It doesn't say that that's the deployment zone.
You're like those 40k players where you say, I want to choose this table court, and you go, you can't because it's this one that's highlighted.
This is part of the very experience, because I remember arguing about...
all that says on there...
Spurlie, page 165, breakthrough, first sentence. Both players must try to move off with many of their units off the table from the enemy player's deployment zone's edge, DZE for short. It is defined in the rulebook. Is it in the right place?
No. Putting the words in the book is not a definition. Yeah. Otherwise, the dictionary would be a lot smaller. Just put in the DZE is the deployment zone edge. You need it to say what the deployment zone edge is. Is it actually along table edge, which is what some people are claiming on Facebook they've been told by Warlord, or is it the table edge around your deployment zone? Because there's also people arguing that if you're playing sectors, the inner edges of your deployment zone are also deployment zone edges because they're the edge of your deployment zone. So I could actually come on from the middle of the board. That's amazing. That is brilliant. But what you've said
that
there,
is
Pete,
mental gymnastics.
What you've said
you said
is
it
not
wasn't defined. It is.
No, that's not a definition.
DZE is defined. Deployment zone edge isn't.
No, I love it. My member varies.
Now,
I remember Deep Strike.
Pete, you're
Deep
the
Strike
one
was
being the
amazing.
prick there. You're the one being the prick there.
Yes,
So
I took your exact words and took them there.
Look, moving on. Look, this is what we mean.
Yes.
This is a very new edition. For over 2 weeks, we're still arguing about this shit. How could you fucking design a tournament pack and meta defining things when you're still having these arguments?
Just to put it out there, right? Who the fuck needed a DZE? Nobody needed a deployment zone edge. They just needed your long table edge. Done.
Well,
I heard that Kim Jong Un loves a DMZ. Does that count?
If you only play the deployment zone edge, if you only play the deployment zone edge as actually the long table edge and not include the side edges, the outflanking rule breaks. So.
If we just play long table edge, meeting engagement, kill points, and that's all we ever do, and we say no reserves because reserves are for pussies, we know that is known, we'll be absolutely fine. Yeah. Done. Yeah, or just go and play your Juggernaut missions, or keep playing Heartbreak Bridge or whatever like you did last year, and it'll be fine.
More good news. There's a lot of things that are properly defined, as Dan says, like no measuring before deciding.
Yes, and they've actually classified, you have to say what you're intending to do. So you can't go, I'm advancing, and then start doing all this shit.
But
I'm advancing here to here.
But those people who did play like that will do that shit anyway. Yeah. It doesn't matter what the rule says.
It wasn't in the rules last time. It
was heavily implied just by following the matrix of like step by step what you did for each.
Yeah, but this is the kind of thing where I'm saying like they've actually said this is the way you do it now, and we're thankful for that.
And then one last question from Alex: have any juggers played with the new infiltrator rules? What are your thoughts on the old world style scout deployment anywhere on the table outside of 12 inches of an enemy unit?
It's strong.
You did that to me putting a sniper in my deployment zone, didn't you? That was weird. That was weird. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the first few of your units, you just kind of ran on and shot the sniper. Yeah. But it took you It took you 3 dice to do it.
They had nothing else to do anyway. That's just a roll-on turn, isn't it? What else was I going to do?
Hey, Toph. Do you want to play an objective game with the FT-17s? Because I guarantee if we get first wave, then I'm just putting nothing but bomb sticks down real close to where you're coming on.
I'll have more FT-17s than you'll have bomb sticks, mate. It'll be absolutely fine.
I can be 14 points a bomb stick.
Yeah, and then
there was 3 a slot.
Yeah. I can get 9.
15.
9 in a heavy weapons platoon and 3 more in the rifle platoon.
Very nice.
But that's when I do the ultimate big brain trick. I just show you pictures of me printing 3D printers for a whole week, and then turn up with my Australians.
See, I know you'd do that, so I'd show you pictures of me with my little bomb sticks everywhere, and watch you go boof, and then I'd show up with US and be like, "What?"
I think that I like the new infiltrator rule. It's a good improvement. I like it. I also think it's a proper noob trap, and will get people to lose their big expensive units because they're fucking idiots and they'll put them in the wrong place because they think they can. Do you know what I mean? It's always that thing where because people think I can put them anywhere, well, I have to put it in right as close to you as I can. And then they're just going to die and get shot. I think the strongest will be when you have entire armies that do it. Things like the Soviet Scout Army or the Papua New Guinea. Whenever the Australians get their rules at some point, I think that's what will
Chinese Sparrow
be really strong. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think that's what will hurt. I think just being able to put your sniper anywhere is a bit meaningless because snipers are shite anyway.
Yeah.
Germans are currently. My opinion, Germany's currently the strongest because of Hitler's buzzsaw. Because a Stuart is 3, 6, 9 shots, yeah? But a P3 is 4, 8, 12 shots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's suddenly they've got the tanks that can hurt you more.
Plus the snappage. That snappage is well hurty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to read it now. But I'm assuming the snap to action on the armored platoon commander will also get an extra one.
No, it doesn't. It's specifically officers. Specifically, officers. Yeah, we read that on Tuesday night. Yeah. They're still really good. Still really good though.
Still good though, because the 12-inch range.
The officer can slap himself. So if you just put the officer behind the 3 tanks, you can still get the 3 tanks going.
Just get your company commander and get your all 4 of your tanks going at 12-inch range because you're massive.
And again, Alex, because he's the only one commented tonight. The Panzer 1, 8 machine gun shots, 70 points.
Yeah, half the price and you lose 1 shot.
Half the price. Yeah. When they're like 80 gun, you lose that too. But
Yeah, I mean,
the fact that you can take. I think this is a new dynamic in V3 in that every time you look at a tank and you go, yeah, it's it can do X, Y, and Z, but you think, but for that price, I can take 3 times the amount of this other thing. Whereas before in V2, you had to compete over slots, so there's value into having a tank in one slot that could do multiple things because you only got the 1 slot. Because now the slots are meaningless and you can take as many things as you want. It's so much easier to be like, well, fuck it, I'm not going to take my Sherman 1. I'm just going to bring 5 of this thing instead, which is a dynamic that you've never had to work out in the past. I think that's one of the biggest changes for this edition.
Yeah, or you bring
specifically that
you bring the 1 tank that can do something a little bit more, and then you just fill the rest of it with the cheaper tanks that then just go.
Exactly. So like Greg asked, heavy mortar or medium howitzer, and it's kind of like, well, but even so, like regardless, the question could also be, how about 4 light mortars? Do you know what I mean? For like a similar price, because the slots don't matter as much as they used to.
Yeah.
The question's bigger.
Well, what that question specifically, medium howitzer or heavy mortar, I'm going heavy mortar because the heavy mortar's indirect is minimum is 12. The medium howitzer's minimum for indirect is 36.
36, yeah.
It's such a huge.
Yeah, I was going to say howitzer.
Heavy mortar can hide behind terrain.
Also, the medium howitzer's ability on turn 1 to go force.
Yeah.
And the drop on pins on the howitzer has been disappointing.
Yeah, but again, the pins don't matter anymore. The pins are meaningless because they don't affect your shots that much. They're so easy to get rid of, and the officers nearby, the amount of officers nearby, discount the multiple stacking to get rid of to stop you passing your test. So
that's a massive change you've just reminded me of. Multiple HE no longer have to chain; they can just go anywhere in the unit. So
Whirlwind is a happy man.
Mortar cannon shots now can actually destroy a whole unit in a go because you can put it wherever you want.
Yeah. Oh, can a man be hit more than once?
No.
But you don't, like in the old rules. It used to be I can hit 2 there and I can hit an extra guy like that. But now you can get 3 over here and 3 over here, and that's fine now.
All the autocannon gunners have been told, like, boys, we don't have much ammo. You need to be really specific with your shots.
Yeah.
And now they're on semi-auto going dink, 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 dink in very specific shots. They're very good. Very good. Any final thoughts? Oh, go on, Pete. I was going to say, any final thoughts before we crack on?
So air observers, quite a huge change. Well, I wouldn't say... Actually, no, huge enough. The rookie pilot... Man, that small tweak in there has suddenly made them a lot more variable.
What's the change?
So V2, rookie pilot was just pick an enemy unit. They're screwed, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
V3 is pick a unit, enemy or friendly, within 12 of the original target. So it has to be, if you're miles away and you've not closed up on them and you've gone here as an air observer, they've got to pick another unit, but you're still dishing pins everywhere. And it dishes pins out quite reliably. The US one firing 2 of them actually put, it didn't pin anything out, but it pinned down an entire flank in a game, and I'm there going, that's quite effective. They're going to get shot to bits quickly. I'd learnt that from the first kind of game I had with the Japanese, and decided that I'm taking a 3-man team, all veteran, because I'd like to live. But air observer, that small tweak in there, you'll see them more. And if people aren't running flak, they're just going to get... You're not even looking for the damage, it's the pins.
Akko's just dropped in a question. Are bamboo spearfighter hordes still going to be a thing?
They're dead.
I'm afraid
they can't fight.
I don't think they'll be... No.
And...
you might get a couple of units of them, like... cheap 5-man units to just stay at the back and do nothing on an objective, or because the way objectives has changed now that they're taggable and you can move off them, I imagine 2 or 3 small units of them to just run to an objective, tag it, and then fuck off and try and tie something up.
Yeah.
Okay, Dan, I'm gonna put this to you. Ready? Would you spend 30 points on 5 bamboo spearmen or 35 points on 5 inex men with rifles?
Rifles, because there's no inex. The inex guys can still hit now.
Yeah, the sixes.
Yeah,
There's no
why.
7s anymore.
The bamboo horde is gone. Anybody that bought 130 plus of them, what a waste of money.
I think having armies that can take like 30 shirkers to just sit on the back line of objectives will be doing that every day now, because again the pins don't matter as much, and you're still shooting great, and it's to the body on the objective.
Yeah.
So
like Alex has just said, you'll always upgrade your spearmen to militia now.
Yeah.
Nice.
The only downside is infantry food bar is massive because you can run off the board if you're within 12 and you run away. But then if you leave them in cover, then they're not going. They can't run 12. Can they run 6? Like, meh.
Well, Shirkers are suffering from the errata from V2 that came through. Well, the FAQ/errata from V2 that meant that 4 pins on a Shirker unit they've pinned out. Nobody's going to take them.
Just keep them down forever, and every turn they'll shed their pins.
Yeah, that down forever is going to be quite a huge change for your home objective. It's going to be, I've got my 5-man squad, they're down forever.
Yeah, the only other way you're going to do it is you've got to commit 5 dice to shoot at it.
Yeah. Which is easy, which isn't as hard as it used to be fair, at the same time. Like, I don't know, it's just, we know so little. This is all so new. Yeah.
Massive new thing. Sorry, it's something I saw almost immediately. I don't know if Alex saw it. He's a fellow Japanese player, but our minimum squad sizes are at 5 men now.
I wonder if that will last when the army books come out in 2020 million. Yeah, don't know.
But minimum squad sizes for the regular infantry used to be 7 and up. But now it being down at 5, I'm looking at it going, some of these are a little more viable now.
Interesting. Right, shall we crack on with the Hobby Lobby?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
We're not doing the WTC back.
Oh, fuck yeah, WTC back. I mean, we kind of touched it a little bit.
1,100 points, bring what you want. Done. Right. Mr.
To be fair, and just to go back, WTC, it was 1,100 points, bring what you want. Didn't you also say that it's still technically subject to change if something mega comes up in the next?
It is a living document.
Okay.
So
at what point does that get locked in?
Tickets.
Probably a couple of months before the event.
Okay.
Yeah.
Obviously, we will have to change it in a few months when the Armies of Germany book comes out. I think there's one other army book that's released before the event.
It's released. No, it's a US book, and it's released like the weekend of.
Oh, okay. In that case, then it'd just be the Armies of Germany book. But it's only going to be changed if we see something absolutely broken and something that no one actually wants to play against.
I don't want to play against 20 FC-17s.
The old WTC was very much bring what you kind of want, but I think we're going to try and keep it as close to that as possible because it's the WTC. If you come to play the best players and the best lists.
Yeah. Well, and in those situations, if somebody's bringing, say, all the FT-17s, they've got to expect to come up against the actual hard counter at some point as well. And
let's talk about the one change that is in this year, because obviously the 1,100 points is a slightly improved points thingy, and there are reasons behind it. I have 5 reasons why it's been changed. I won't go into them right now. But the biggest change of all is you are now allowed to take 5 lists.
I like it.
For your team of 4. So you can take 5 or 4 generic lists, let's say, and then 1 completely tilted list. So it's completely geared to do one thing and one thing only, because if you know you're going to be playing a nation that likes to bring tank platoons, for instance, well, you can write a list with 19 anti-tank rifles in it, and you can swap it in for that one game, and when you play your captain's bluff at the start to see what lists get matched up, you can hope to get that matchup, and then it's a real bonus for your team.
Yeah, so just for anybody that doesn't know, before you wrote 5 lists, but you brought 4, and nobody knew what those 4 were that you were bringing until you got to the event.
No, so the fifth list was kind of like to throw you off kind of thing.
Now it's write 5 lists, bring 5 lists, and you pick 4 of them for each round.
Yeah, so you could literally keep swapping which 4 you play every single round. So
that said, I'm pretty sure if a team is too poor to bring all 5 lists, then they can just omit one immediately.
Oh yeah, if you only want to bring 4 lists because that's what you practice with and you are happy playing with just 4 lists, then more power to you. That's you can do that. But if you want to have that option of bringing 5, and I'm sure a lot of nations will do, then the option's there.
Well, it's almost a step towards what the Welsh were threatening to do in Spain this year, when instead of picking the list to play the list, they were going to swap the players on the lists so that they were actually picking the player to play their opponent, because they knew that the person's play styles rather than the list style was how they'd beat them. They didn't do it in the end. They should have didn't do it, which I was disappointed about.
Again, there is nothing in that pack that says players can only play 1 list per person.
Team England have already worked that out.
If Toph wants to play Polish one day and then Chinese the next, and then
it helps that me and Alex are basically the same person.
Yeah.
The big problem if he plays Chinese, that's an illegal list right now.
I'm gonna write my own Chinese list with blackjack and hookers.
It's just Japanese twice, dudes. It's fine.
Is it going to come with a set menu for 4?
Also, the matchup system's back in it.
Yeah,
it is. I like that system. I think it's better than the other ones.
Yeah.
So let's go through how it works. We roll off. I win. Yeah. I put 2 lists out.
Yeah. I then look at those 2 lists, having done my homework as a team captain, and say, oh, Spurlie has put down Finnish and British. I think the 2 lists that would be best against that would be Italians and French.
We should probably
and
say
then Spurlie then picks the matchups.
You've already had to pick your 4 lists before this.
Yeah, your 4 lists are decided before the captains start their matchups. Yeah. So you could say, you say to yourself, say like I'm captain of one team and Spurlie's captain of another. I say to myself, right, Spurlie has written 5 lists that are all very tank heavy, so we're going to ditch one of the lists that is a combat heavy army, and we're taking our anti-tank list because we know it's going to do well this round. When we then do the matchup, Spurlie puts 2 up. I pick 2 to say these will be good against them. I give them to Spurlie. He then decides who plays who, and then the remaining 2 get passed to the other captain, and he decides the other 2.
Yeah, so there's a bit of tactical nuance there, maybe, where because I will have done my homework on Dan, and know he's got a very anti-tank heavy list, so I'll be trying to work the situation so that I can put my least tank heavy list against his heavy anti-tank list.
And it's so much easier to decide your matchups, because you know, rather than like or like smoke and mirrors, you can be like, right, this list needs to for various reasons needs to pick its opponent, in which case I will put this list in that pool rather than that pool, because I know I'll get to pick the opponents out of the 2 on that pool. Whereas if you've got an open list that can take anyone, you can then put that and let the opponents decide on the understanding that, like, well, whatever. Do you know what I mean?
But the thing we wanted to avoid the most was the sacrificial lamb list.
Yeah.
And the old system always meant that the sacrificial list was either put up to kill put up against the best list because they put that first, or you leave it till last because they've saved their best list till last. But now you can keep your list that's going to be completely shit against the ones away and make sure that it doesn't fight those ones, so that it's got a fighting chance. So that's another positive, and I just prefer it this way. I think it's a good system.
None of it's done blind, is it?
Matter.
None of it's done blind. It's all
you know exactly what lists there are,
and it also means that, because one captain gets to pick 2 matchups, the other captain gets to pick the other 2, and it kind of equals itself out as we go, you know?
Yeah, everyone's got the same amount of choice. And that's the other thing as well. In the old system, you didn't have that choice as a captain. You kind of got one, kind of got a second, and then the other 2 just happened. And it kind of was like, well, I don't really get to choose as a captain. But this way, each captain has direct choice over 2 matchups each, so it's completely fair and balanced. So it's good. It's a good system.
I know. At least I think it was kind of received well because I imagine some of the captains went, "Oh, it's back! Brilliant!"
Because no one's moaned about it. That's why.
Yeah.
Some people,
I don't go on.
No one's moaning about it.
Some people have maybe commented on the lack of list restrictions, but get on with it.
The game is 2 weeks old. Until we know what is coming out, like between the four of us, we are going to try and break bolt action over the next few months. So when I finally come down to club and I can drive again, I'm going to bring an American list that's got 9 tanks in it and see if it's an absolute bloodbath.
Yeah.
And if it is, then we're going to do some serious consideration to think, well, maybe we put in the limitations of 1 maximum platoon of tank or artillery types. But it is, we've got like 8 months until this happens. So just relax, guys.
Got all the time in the world. Right, can we do Hobby Lobby now?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Toph wants to get back to bed. I was not expecting that.
I can get the hair longer and go full Jack Black again if you want.
Have you seen the trailer for Minecraft, the movie with Jack Black?
Yeah.
Go and watch it. It's atrocious. He's like, I am Steve, and everyone's like, oh, okay then. Hey, Steve. That guy's Steve.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've Minecraft. Looks nothing like Steve. I say that as a man who's literally Steve is 2 blocks with some legs, and he still looks nothing like Jack Black.
I've heard that it's got a lot of backlash, that movie, because it's utter trash.
I love it because the internet's on fire about how it's the worst thing to cinema ever, and yet my 2 kids watched the trailer for that and they're like, oh my god, this looks amazing, I can't wait to see it, because of course it's designed for them. It's not just it's the same people who moaned about the Mario movie. Oh god, another Chris Pratt movie. My kids fucking loved it. And you know what, I took them to the cinema. Chris Pratt movie is animated, it's fine, it's wicked. So I'm gonna do the same thing with the Minecraft movie.
Yeah, Detective Pikachu was much deeper than I was expecting.
Oh yeah, that hits hard. You know, it does hit hard. Disney and Pixar Soul.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean? If you're not quite sure where you're going in your life and you feel that you need a bit of guidance, don't watch Soul because it'll destroy you. It'll absolutely destroy you. I'm a grown man. It makes me cry. It's so hard.
Have you watched Inside Out 2?
Yeah. You know another one that'll kick you with a punch you in the dick? Coco.
Oh,
I like that one.
Yeah, it's a good film, but man's not ready. Man's not ready for that.
The thing is, right? Because it's designed at kids, they're not getting like the full thing where we're going, oh god, they're going, okay.
Yeah. Oh, sad.
Have you seen the new Joker yet?
No, I'm not going to waste my money. That's apparently
it's fucking awful. Like literally, it's musical for the first like 45 minutes.
Hopefully, it's bad enough that it comes back round again and becomes hilarious.
Yeah.
What you don't want is that middle level of bad where it's just bad and there's nothing redeeming about it. You need it to be so bad, that it comes back again. We'll see.
It needs to be like Sharknado bad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Or not Game of Thrones season 8 bad.
Yeah.
Oh, talking. Well, I don't care. We're on Hobby Lobby. I'm just going to carry on talking. I've quite enjoyed Rings of Power season 2. Suck it.
I've not actually watched it yet. I need to watch it.
I've watched the first 2 episodes, and so far, literally nothing has happened. And it's just so annoying. I know the first season was like 2 or 3 episodes setting it up, and then it went, oh, now it's some story, and it was all right in the end, and it's worth a watch.
It's like the old the old theme tune to go where nothing happens.
Yeah.
The Peter Dinklage intro is much better.
Yeah.
I'd tell you what did hit hard. The latest episode of Grand Tour where they've said this is what we're ever doing. And they're all just crying all the way through it. It was like, they're going to come back here.
Chris,
I love that episode of Grand Tour.
It was good.
Chris Hunt in the comments says the first 5 minutes of Up.
Oh,
I made a horrendous mistake in my life.
When his wife dies and he has to do everything himself.
No, you make the mistake of watching that with me, right?
No, this hits so much worse. So, it was when my it was quite a few years into me, years and years ago, quite early on into me and my wife's like marriage, and my wife's grandma died. And she was absolutely beside herself, absolutely upset, absolutely just, when you just inconsolable, and you think, man, I'm a husband here. I just need to like make my wife happy. I just need to try and do anything. So what do? Let's just put a nice movie on.
Yeah, a nice Disney film.
Yeah. After her grandma died, tell you what, let's put Up on. Yeah, I've never lived that down. Never lived that down.
No,
there's an amazing little Easter egg in Up that you might not have noticed at the start, but at the start of the film, when he's always happy with his wife and stuff, every start of the sequence is her tying his tie as he goes on to then conquer that next stage of his life. And at the end of the film, he wears clip-ons because she isn't there anymore, and she's the only person that could tie his tie. And it's like, oh man,
yeah.
It's horrendous.
So that first 5 minutes, right?
Welcome to the depressing Pixar podcast.
No, that first 5 minutes when it's like, I'm going to show you all these things, I just went giggity, and that was it. Ruined the entire first 5 minutes.
The saddest part of any film ever, Die Hard, when Alan Rickman falls out of Nakatomi Plaza. That proper had me in, floods, mate. Absolutely ruined that Christmas film. Ruined it.
While you were in floods, Spurlie, did you sniff glue and do your Blood Bowl?
So I did some of my Blood Bowl. I've not finished it. But then I also, this is your guys' fault for like.
So you didn't finish your pledge then? You didn't finish your pledge?
Started on this,
Yeah.
Never mind. Never mind. That's sad.
Well, I mean, it's not unexpected, was it? Let's be honest.
I can't remember what my pledge was, so this could be interesting.
It's an old giant.
The Marauder Giant.
Oh, smash that!
I'm going to say, this was a while ago, buddy.
Yeah, smash that! That's wicked.
I missed some episodes. This was a while ago.
I'll take that. I don't know. Did we do some Hobby Lobby, like some new pledges while Pete was off?
Yeah, we did. There's no way that Marauder Giant was your last Hobby Lobby pledge.
Did you write them down?
What we got?
No, I didn't write them down. No.
I'm going to take that win. I'm going to absolutely take that win.
What's Pete got for me then?
Don't correct me.
Actually, what's Pete got written down for me?
Sniff glue and Blood Bowl. We went with you first.
Oh, that was Sniffer. Oh.
So you still didn't do it then?
Nah.
No, because your latest pledge was Land Speeder.
Land Speeder?
Is that what you got? Didn't you buy a Land Speeder with William or something?
No. He bought a thing, but I didn't do that. No.
Oh, okay. We'll see how old this is. What was my pledge? Was it fish or Bretonian peasants?
40 spearmen with peasants.
Oh yeah, I did that. This is definitely an old one.
You did do that, yeah. They're a fucking nightmare on the table.
And
bastards.
I've completed this pledge because the first 20 minutes of this podcast I was showing you doing it. By Fisher in.
This is how old it was. Mine was down to base 10 flesh hounds. I painted those 10 flesh hounds and I'm on the last 10.
Yeah, Pete smashed it too. There we go. We got 3 smashes and 1 sad. That's all right.
How was mine not like do the Potskis Private Army for going to London? Because that was actually
I think that's what it was.
Yeah, I think that was.
It might have been. If it helps, right? The last 3 I've got down before that is Burrs and Badges.
Yeah.
No, Burrs and Badges, 40 Soviets and tanks, and 30 riflemen.
To be fair, he did paint his PPA stuff for the tournament. Yeah. So then actually, now I think about it, I think mine was actually painting Boar Boys.
Might have been. Don't know.
Yeah, it didn't happen. So on average, I think we did some hobby. There we go.
I've done more than those flesh hounds over the time that obviously not been about for these hobby lobbies. I've put together more skeletons.
The Blood Bowl as well is not just sat there. It has had more paint applied to it. Just I've done other stuff as well.
just accidentally as his brush is furiously painting something else.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I've started doing the whole Operation Mincemeat support drive, haven't I? That takes up a bit of time. So
I've been busy just arguing with PayPal. That's been my life.
Oh yeah,
that's a whole thing I won't get into.
To OnlyFans pages then, and you wouldn't.
What else am I supposed to spend our Patreon millions on if not ladies?
She didn't say my name as she was faking it. I demand my $4.99 back.
Look, Toph, just because we switch the Patreon money into Vietnamese dong doesn't mean you can use it for those activities.
Dong.
I love a bit of Vietnamese dong. What's the pledge for this?
I'm going to finish my Flash Hounds.
Okay.
And I'm also going to attend my first Old World tournament because we're a Bolt Action podcast.
Yes, we're going. I'm so looking forward to going there with you, Pete. That's going to be wicked.
Yeah.
So it's down in like Warminster, like Froome area, which is about as far Factorum, which is about as far away from my house as you can possibly get. It's like a 4.5 hour drive or something ridiculous. People told the thing. So my plan was to go and stay around Grimes's the night beforehand because he lives close to his like halfway in Gloucester, and then drive the extra bit. Except I'm off to Budapest on Sunday for another fucking week because that's my life now. And I land back in the UK at 5 o'clock on the Friday beforehand, so I've got to then get home, get my models, get in a car, drive to Gloucester. Otherwise, get home, go to bed straight away, wake up about 2 in the fucking morning.
Can't you just give your models to Pete and then fly to the south? Get a return flight into
because work pay for that shit, and then I'm stuck down there like what grumble. We'll make it work. It'll happen. Just anyone who's playing me at Old World on that day, enjoy your free win because I'm just going to be like
and then,
rank and flank.
And then on top of that, I'll be I don't know, doing some Bolt Action related things. No, I'll probably be jumping through a lot of Bolt Action games trying to figure out what's broken and what's not.
Yeah.
What's Toph doing?
How long until we record again?
Oh boys.
As long as you want.
Okay, it'll be Ball Boys. Because I would like to take them with me to Factorum, but I'm also aware I have about 2 days to fit them in, so it probably won't happen. Let's see how this goes. Put me down for some more Ball Boys, we'll see.
I'm going to put you down for the Budapest Ball Boys.
The Budapest Ball Boys. I could take them with me.
Yeah.
That's a thought. I'll see what I can get done. I'll see what I can get done tomorrow on Saturday, and then I might just need to take some with me for Tuftage.
Yeah.
We'll see.
It's always nicer doing Tuftage.
Yeah.
Spurlie?
Oh, I'm gonna put my pledge up on the. There we go. So just have a look at your live stream. So I've got. So these are from We Print Miniatures. You know, you might have seen us touting them about a bit. I've got 3 of their new Call to Duty models, not Call of Duty.
Call to Duty.
Call to Duty. Yeah.
Isn't that bloke on the right the Makarov bloke from No Russian level in the Modern Warfare 2?
Yeah.
It's a rip-off that they've just renamed because nobody can actually go, that's our character, when it's like human with gun.
But the fact that I can recognise that from that, and he's not even cleaned the model up yet, let alone put any paint on it, that's quite impressive. There's a shit. And also, look at the one on the left. Look at all those details, man. You can't paint those deets, but
the one on the left is.
I'd like to paint the woman model.
Rose.
And likes boobies, that's why.
Yeah.
Contrast.
Yeah. Contrast boobies.
Go on then, Dad. I'll get that to you. So
do you want to do it as a painting, Tom?
Well,
there's only 3 of them.
Yeah,
audience interaction.
I've only got 3.
Audience interaction.
Well, I'm going to be away anyway. Do what the fuck you want. I don't give a shit.
I can fit it in. Danny, you two are going to fit it in.
All right. Yeah. So I'll get you Rose, and I'll do the other 2. So,
Rose. Oh. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's who it is.
Exotic.
That's who it is.
Where's Jack? Where's Jack at that door?
Yeah. So.
Dan, what are you painting? Or hobbying?
Or pledging. I need to.
He's going to paint the ceiling when he looks at fish.
Yeah, I'm going to set up my 3D printer again because it's currently in the loft after the move to down here. So I need to print some stuff for the D&D group and possibly Spurlie.
Oh, I'm glad you picked that up. I didn't mean to mention that. Sorry.
Yeah, I will. I will paint Rose, and I will try and put more paint on Bretonnian bowman peasant models as well.
There we go. It's exciting.
And if the listeners or the viewers have ever noticed in the way I tend to do this, the order of this is I do it PTSD.
PTSD.
That's
That's such a shit.
That's what we are. We're PTSD.
Yeah. Welcome to Twats Anonymous. My name's Toph. I mean, I am still a bit of a twat, but I'm trying really hard to
You're
not.
no longer anonymous by naming yourself.
Always makes me laugh. Anonymous, who are you?
My story is I once went to university in Leicester and I got into a bad crowd of other twats that kind of converted me. And unfortunately, they're all with me here tonight because I just can't escape their grasp at being a twat. So, yeah. It's nice to be here, guys.
I'm here.
Yeah. Right. Have we got a joke for this evening?
Haven't, because
no.
I've been ill for a while. So I've been able to get one. I'm just disappointed because I've been waiting all evening for Bo to show up because I've got a Danish to eat out here. I was going to eat this Danish. Gonna eat him raw. I was gonna get right down my throat, tickle the balls the way down, give a good bit to that Danish, and he's not here. I have got one joke we can end on. It's not very good, but it is.
Okay, good.
It's all right. It's all right.
Okay. We will be the judge of that.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Why don't dwarves shop at Aldi? Because they're little people.
I like that.
It's one of the most nice, carefree, like family-friendly jokes.
I mean, it's not my usual level, but it'll be.
Hey, tell you what, new edition of Bolt Action, new edition of Dan. There we go.
Yeah.
Wow.
New edition of Bolt Action. Will we be covering nation breakdowns? Probably.
Yeah. Watch this space. We're still a bit raw. We probably need a bit more lube to go in for a second dive. Do you know what I mean? Like.
Oh, get me in for a third, a fourth, again.
Keep on listening, people. Thank you for listening to this episode. We've been the Juggernauts. Yeah. See you later. Good night.
I'm about to go full deep and go and have sex in my fish tank.
Wow.
Weirdo.
Wow.
What a thing to end on.
Press the fucking button, Spurlie. Do it quick.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh my god.